Sole surviving guest of Erin Patterson's mushroom meal has told the court she refused help serving up the dish and also described vomiting shortly after returning home. Penelope Lirsch is covering the trial in Morwell.
Ian Wilkinson says he and his wife Heather fell ill. He said they did stay in a local hospital overnight and then nurses rushed into the room and really quite quickly and dramatically took them down a hallway and onto waiting ambulances as they were told there was fears that they did have mushroom poisoning. Now, Ian Wilkinson doesn't remember much beyond getting to the next hospital, as he was in ICU at a major hospital in Melbourne for a number of weeks after that, after becoming gravely ill. More evidence will continue today with new witnesses. We have begun to hear from medical witnesses as well.
The new Canadian PM has met with Donald Trump, saying Canada will never be for sale. The pair have held a press conference at the White House. Mark Carney looking nervous and disappointed.
Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American.
But Donald Trump says the US doesn't need products from its northern neighbour.
We'll put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum.
Going well. Nitrous oxide, or laughing gas, has been used to successfully treat depression for the first time. Monash Uni testing the drug on 81 adults who did not respond to existing treatment for depression. Around 20% of participants went into remission after 4 one-hour sessions. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Matty. The AFL is being called upon to issue a please explain in regards to the behaviour of Port Adelaide's Willie Rioli. The AFL chose not to take action after Rioli sent a vile text message to a Bulldogs player. Now it's been revealed the Port player has made on-field threats in games against Geelong and Essendon. Eddie Maguire has told Nine's Footy Classified the AFL must take action.
Laura Kane, the integrity officer, has to ring Essendon, Geelong and the Western Bulldogs, get statements, then get Willie Rioli, his president or chief executive, his manager and his coach, and come in and have the old-fashioned please explain.
Let's go to soccer. Things are getting tight in the Champions League semi-final tie between Inter Milan and Barcelona. Inter led 2-0 at half-time, courtesy of a penalty right on the break.
Chananolu scores. Have Inter got 1 foot in the final in Munich? On the night it's 2-0 and they lead 5-3 on aggregate.
Audio there thanks to Stan Football, but incredibly, Barca have just scored twice early in the second half, so it's now 5-all on aggregate and there's about 20 minutes to play in the tie. Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain will play the second leg of their semi-final tie tomorrow. And a key member is gone at Formula One team Alpine, but it's not under pressure. Aussie driver Jack Doohan, team principal Oliver Oakes has resigned. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now 5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing, 21 today, cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days from Friday, 21. The weekend up to 24. Currently it is 17. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ignite your passion for exploration in the all-new Land Cruiser Prado. From the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Featuring refined suspension and increased manoeuvrability, the Land Cruiser Prado boasts off-roading prowess, ready to conquer the most rugged landscapes. Land Cruiser Prado is your gateway to adventure. Come and experience the difference and take a test drive of the all-new Land Cruiser Prado today at Jarvis Toyota, now on Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Did you know 95% of your old mobile phone is recyclable? Metals, batteries, plastics and glass, all ready for a new life as new things, like bottles, crates, roads, sunglasses and even new tech. That means less mining and more for the environment. Recycle your old phones with Mobile Muster today and make an impact. Visit mobilemuster.com.au for more information.
You're smart, you're busy, and your time matters. So when that first sign of illness appears, you need answers, not appointments. That's when you reach for Cell Life, the premium 4-in-1 rapid antigen test that puts you in control. Fast, reliable results for COVID-19, flu A, flu B and RSV in just minutes. Make the smart choice for your health and family. Insist on the brand that healthcare professionals prefer. Cell Life at leading chemists and Amazon. Cell Life, CELLIFE.
If you love your home but you've never been in love with your kitchen, well, the answer is not far away. In fact, it's just 15 minutes up the freeway. That's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, and it's a family business with 35 years of experience, so they care about taking care of you. And their expertise goes further than kitchens. They can create laundries, linen cupboards, robes and vanities, plus all cabinet installations are backed by a 10-year warranty. Balhanna Kitchens by Design, it's not too late. And it's not too far to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at balhannakitchens.com.au.
Are painful muscle cramps stopping you doing the things you love or waking you up at night? Caruso's Super Magnesium is a time-release formula with 6 types of magnesium which relieves painful muscle cramps when dietary intake is inadequate and supports muscle health and function. Caruso's Super Magnesium comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Get back to doing what you love with Caruso's Super Magnesium. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast, the 7th of May. Sean Fuster's back on deck. He's had a bit of leave, Sean. Looking forward to him coming back and taking us round the courts after 7:30. We have showdown tickets to give away. David Kosh is going to be on the show. Looking forward to catching up with Koshy. Jade Robran out covering the big local stories for us. A musical or a music-related, music-adjacent touch of etiquette this morning. And we've had some rain. Or at least we suspect we have. Around just before 3 a.m. this morning, there was a bit of rain around Adelaide. We need to do a bit of a rain gauge check. Who got what and where? If you've got one at your place, just flick us a little text. 048081395. We can build a little bit of a rain map and see what we got and whether the bulk of it is still on the way today. We'll find out with the Bureau a little bit later. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I didn't hear it. I was sound asleep, but leaving the house this morning, I went, yeah, it's funny. Was the sprinkler on? Is there a burst water main somewhere? Has someone been backwashing their pool in the dead of night? No, it was rain. So it'd be nice to get some actual visual evidence of it. Did anyone see it? Have we got any listeners who've been
Lucy saw it.
Working night shift? Lucy saw it. What time did you see it, Lucy? It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
2:45.
What were you doing up at 2:45?
2:45?
Exercise.
You were doing exercise at 2:45 a.m. What are those anytime fitness places? Is that the sort of place you go to? Yes, she's nodding. Luce goes to
2:45.
I've always wondered, anytime fitness. How did that even take off as a business idea?
Because you know why? There's no labour overheads. Everyone gets a card.
No staff,
That's right. You just swipe your card and go in. It's a good business model.
So you just need an empty building.
Yeah, the outlay, those machines cost a ridiculous amount. Because if you buy like a treadmill for your home, it might cost somewhere around 1,000, below 800 to 1,200, something like that. Their machines at those kind of places cost about 10 grand. Because they're way more robust. They have to be built to.
See, I'm not being silly here, but I have actually never gone to a gym in my whole life. So I don't even know really what they look like properly on the inside.
The outlay's all in the equipment. That costs you a lot. But if you're a place like that where, swipe your card, come in, do a workout, go home, grab a towel.
Do people chat when they're in there? Or is it quite a private thing, exercise? You wouldn't want to be the...
No, it's pretty private.
You don't go, hey, go in there.
You know what? I don't have it. Since COVID, I don't go to the gym anymore. I just do it at home, like a lot of people did. But before COVID,
Why'd you stop with COVID?
Because we didn't know how long we were going to be locked up for. I ended up buying a couple little bits of equipment. Remember I made that video? I only bought half of something.
Have you got an ab blaster, Will?
Not quite. But...
Have you ever tried 8-minute abs?
You can't do abs in 8 minutes.
7-minute abs.
It's a real generational thing, I reckon, at the gym. So during the day, because of our hours, would go before COVID, and there'd be a lot of retired people who were like a little community. It was obviously their health and social scene a little bit, so they would often chat at the machines, and they got a little bit more time. But it was quite a nice. You could tell amongst people who were retired, it was quite a communal sort of experience. Where amongst younger people, it's headphones in and all business.
Everyone's got their iPod going.
Yeah,
there's quite a few out your way. There's a lot on Grange Road. There's one I used to notice on the corner of Grange Road and the Holbrooks Road.
Yeah, where they're realigning the traffic lights.
Where the world's craziest stationery shop is.
That's right. Yeah, that gym is an extraordinary piece of architecture.
Stationery shop?
No, I haven't. Is it still there? Because I don't know. Something's had to make way for where they're relaying that bit of road that was poorly designed.
I've been to that stationery shop a few times. I love it. It's laid out like some 1950s hardware store. The guy, I'm not sure if it's still there. Let us know, Westies. It was like you go in there. It was like a rabbit warren. But the guy who ran it, he knew where everything was. It was just incredible. They had sold filing cabinets and Tipex, sticky notes, every biro known to man and woman. But yeah, a bit of a sort of rejoinder to the Office Works, every aisle named and numbered sort of approach. But
bit of a throwback.
2:45. I can't believe it. What's Liz doing in the gym at 2:45? I suppose she's staying in shape.
Just looking at some of the texts coming in, 3.8 mils of rain in Hope Valley. That's nice. 3.8 mils is good. Michael says it's raining at Morialta. Christine says they got 2 mils up at Lobethal. And Brent the Milky says, guys, it's been raining since 12:30. It was quite heavy through Roseworthy and Freeling, which hopefully helps the farmers out there. That would be great. Mark in Para Hills says, only got 0.5 mil at Para Hills, just damp. Wouldn't water a sour sob. Hopefully there's more on the way today. We will check in with the Bureau and find out very, very shortly. Let's take a quick break. News headlines coming up in just a moment.
Your baby or toddler loves interacting with you. And with up to 85% of brain development occurring during the first 3 years, talking, playing, reading and singing are the best ways to help grow their minds. For more information, visit wordsgrowminds.org.au.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Our place is your place at the Albion Hotel. A big birthday? Catch up with friends? A casual get-together with good company? Or maybe you're planning something bigger, a special function, a milestone celebration, or a corporate gathering. Whatever the reason, celebrate it at the Albion. And for freebies, cheeky deals and insider perks, download the Albion Hotel loyalty app. It's happy hour all day, every day. The Albion Hotel. Your local, your people, your place.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com. Do
you live in the western suburbs, from the airport to Noarlunga, and want the very best heating and cooling for your home? Then look no further than Mannix and our big air, solar and warehouse sales outlet on the corner of Marion Road and Bray Street, Plympton. Buy air conditioning units to spare parts direct from our warehouse, or get a free quote for a fully installed system designed for your needs. All from the SA name you know and trust.
When you think of single malt Scotch whisky, you might imagine Scotland's green hills, her fresh babbling brooks, and rows of oak barrels. But you can get the same feeling right here in Adelaide when you walk down the aisles at Powell's. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf. They can guide you through Scotland's best whisky labels and the best from around the globe, all under one roof. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Back to redirect to you.
Statesman Statesman Windows, a local homegrown success story, has been serving home renovators and builders right across SA for over 45 years. Their success is built around family and service, consistently providing the highest quality products at real value for money. Call Statesman Windows.
Windows winning where you want them. Windows winning where you want them.
New car? Holiday? Why not both? At Edwardstown Mazda's biggest ever end of financial year sale, you'll drive away with up to $10,000 in savings and go into the draw to win the ultimate New Zealand getaway. Flights, accommodation, wine tour and more. All sorted. Don't choose between a car, a holiday or great savings. Get all three. Only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
80 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Wednesday, the 7th of May. A man has spent the night in hospital in a critical condition after an alleged assault at Murray Bridge this morning. This is really concerning. So police emergency services were called to Newman Avenue just before midday. They found a 34-year-old with an injury to the back of his head, and he was dumped by someone presumed to be his attacker in a shopping trolley before fleeing the scene. And it's not believed to be a random attack. So police have obviously got some insights into what may have caused this.
Unbelievable.
I saw a bit of this morning and I did a double take and thought, surely not. Sir David Attenborough celebrating his 99th birthday tomorrow, marking the occasion with what's being described as the greatest message he's ever told. So if that sounds like a promo...
The greatest message he's ever told.
Well, it is, because his new feature-length film, Ocean, he believes could play a decisive role in saving biodiversity and protecting what he describes as the greatest ally mankind has against climate catastrophe. Have a listen.
Today is in such poor health, I would find it hard not to lose hope, were it not for the most remarkable discovery of all. The ocean can recover faster than we had ever imagined.
It's amazing. He's still working. He sounds magnificent.
He does, doesn't he?
It looks spectacular. Little bits of the vision I've seen of this look remarkable. So it's called Ocean. A long list of celebrities were invited to the launch that took place overnight. Jerry Halliwell was there. Coldplay was there. A whole heap of people were there. It was a big event, but this is going to be coming out sometime very soon. But yes, I must admit, I heard the voice and went, hang on, David Attenborough's putting out another documentary?
It's incredible, isn't
99 years of age.
How many has he put out?
It's a great question.
We'll try to find out. Yeah, we'll dig out the figures. But there was a great biography on him that I saw some years ago, which had footage of him as a kid, and he was obsessed with what they call like Super 8 movie technology, and he was just obsessed with filming nature. And there's a lot of stuff that he did where they actually created devices that are now sort of used in other parts of cinema that were designed to get up close and personal with all sorts of creepy crawlies in logs and up in the top of forest canopies and everything. Yeah, incredible documentary.
There is something to be said for people who just genuinely, without affectation, love something and hearing them talk about it. Now, obviously, he's a very talented orator. His voice is magnificent. But it reminds me of sort of Bruce McAvaney in that way.
Yeah.
There's just something to be said. There's something so genuine and authentic. These guys just love what they do. They love what they talk about. Their enthusiasm's infectious. It's none of it is put on. And there's something to be said for that.
A lot of people in business, when they've started their own business, they just cannot retire.
Yes,
they're just always in there. Even if it's like a couple of days a week, they're just completely hands on, still in there running the show. But yeah, I wonder what David Attenborough would make of the algal bloom in South Australia. I mean, there'll be listeners who would shake their heads, going, "Oh, this sort of stuff's been happening cyclically over the years." Well, there is evidence that there's going to be more of it because the planet is warmer. And he would just be looking at that, I would say, and go, well, this is, in fact, the exact thing most scientists have been warning about for a very long time.
Given that's the backdrop of this documentary, I'd be fascinated to know if it's being covered because it's happening anywhere else on planet Earth.
Yeah.
It may well come up. Not in Adelaide, but somewhere else. The Australian Taxation Office says it will be targeting work-related tax deductions this year, citing a rise in non-deductible claims. More than 10 million people claimed a work-related deduction last year. The ATO says deductions must meet the pub test to be successful. I didn't know they spent a lot of time at the pub, the ATO.
Is there a pub test, is there? Wow.
What is the ATO's go-to pub?
Is the pub test on the bass? Is there a box you have to fill in? Does this meet the pub test when you're reconciling your inputs and outputs? Geez, they're a fun bunch, aren't they, the ATO? Every year, who can we go after this year? How about, let's go after funeral directors and florists. Next year, let's go after gymnasts.
Yeah. It's not organised crime, is it?
Professional tennis players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's not organised crime. It's not businesses avoiding taxes. It's just ordinary people.
Yeah, people making work-related deductions.
The pub test, though.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to see the outcome of the pub test. Nitrous oxide, what we sometimes call laughing gas, has been used to successfully treat depression for the first time.
Really?
Monash University tested the drug on 81 adults who had not responded to existing treatments for depression. Around 20% of the participants went into remission after 4 one-hour sessions. That sounds like a bit of fun, actually.
4 one-hour sessions? That's, what, 1 hour on nitrous oxide? Seriously?
Well, it worked for 1 in 5. For 20% of the people, it worked every time. Introducing...
I thought they could actually really damage your brain. I reckon a lot of our listeners will remember like school crazes. We had wasn't my cup of tea, but we had a few roughies at school who would get the old soda siphon container and, you know, those little bulbs that you screw
nangs. They're called nangs, aren't they?
Yeah, nangs. Yeah. And you suck on the soda siphon nozzle, and that you get nitrous oxide out of it. But apparently it only goes for like not even a minute. That's why a lot of the shops like Bunnings and that, they keep them away because kids
behind the locked cage.
Yeah. We're having a cocktail party. I need about 148. Right.
This is an interesting bit of
I'm making
science
my
as
own
well.
soda water.
Introducing termites to replanted forests could help them thrive. A study of the Daintree has found termites and fungi species could help predict forest health and then measure the rate at which carbon is being turned into biomass.
Predict it?
Yeah, James Cook University.
Well, if they predict it, what do you have to do? You have to ask them to tell you the answer, though.
Yeah,
we
need to
find out from the termite.
We need to learn to speak termite, but we think we're going to get there. James Cook University's Dr. Alex Cheeseman says they want to use the findings to boost forest regeneration.
Trying to improve strategies to be more cost-effective that would allow us to more effectively and in a shorter time span return forests to how they once were.
Rob's just texted, I'm getting 125k in refunds from tax this year or 5 years jail. It could go either way.
Well, it depends on the pub test now, doesn't it?
Just worth having a lash, though.
We did get sporadic reports of rain to start the program this morning, ranging from 3.8 mils, I think was the highest, to half a mil at Para Hills. 1 to 3 mils forecast today. Some of that, I suspect, will have already fallen. The showers become less likely as we progress across the day. Top of 21 expected. For tomorrow...
What was the Anchorman quote there, Will? One of our beady-eared listeners...
I said 20% of the time it works every time.
Oh, yeah. No, one of our listeners said I didn't pick it up.
20 tomorrow.
Sex Panther is a reference to the men's fragrance.
Exactly right. 21 tomorrow and sunny. 23 on Saturday and sunny. 24 Sunday and, you guessed it, sunny. Monday for something different, sunny, 25. And then Tuesday, sunny and 25. It doesn't look like there's going to be a cloud in the sky from Friday this week right through until Tuesday next week, and some beautiful weather for Mother's Day and the weekend. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio as we talk sport. Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors, gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Now, fellas, plenty happening. I know you got Koshy on later in the morning. Looking forward to that chat. But plenty happening in the soccer world. Champions League, semi-final tie. It's getting to the pointy end. So Inter Milan and Barcelona. Remember they played that brilliant 3-3 draw last week. So it's the second leg this week. Inter Milan go 2-0 up, playing at home in Italy. So 5-3 up on aggregate, looking like they're there. And then this happens at the start of the second half.
Now Martin, again, no quality with the final ball from the left-hand side. That's better. Oh, it's a screamer. It's Eric Garcia from nowhere. It's a belter of a finish. Barcelona back in the tie. Martin might have a go from there. Oh, it's a lovely ball in. It's a brilliant goal. This time the flag stays down. Gianni Olmo, who's been so quiet for so long, equalised on the night. Last week they came back from 2-0 down, and would you believe it? They've done it again.
So Barcelona then, for the first time in the tie, go up 3-2, which puts them 6-5 up on aggregate, and then Inter Milan have scored in the 93rd minute.
Oh, wow.
So it's 6-all on aggregate, so it's about to go to extra time. So,
do you know where it's being played?
Well, I'm not sure where's Inter's home.
Oh, so it's at Inter's. I don't know. Or Milan.
Yeah, Milan. But I'm not sure.
Milano.
What the
How good would
name
it be
of the
being at
stadium
one of those
is.
games?
Oh, my goodness. So, look,
San Siro, they play
San
as well.
Siro is,
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So Inter and AC must both play there.
But that's just one of those matches. Yeah, you would love to, you know, bucket list item to be at a match like that. So the winner of that will, of course, play the winner of Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain, who play tomorrow. So just one of those games that is happening at the moment. Will, I know as well, the NBA playoffs are on at the moment, and you're an Indiana Pacers man, aren't you?
You better believe it, my friend.
Yeah, and started very well.
I wonder why Will left the office the other morning at 1 minute past 9 and said, I've actually got to do something.
Busy morning.
Well, I actually texted
because I got home and it was on, but Jim was watching it. I went, this is why Will had to race off, I reckon.
Well, I actually texted Will. I think I had some NBA scores in, and they start at 8:30 this morning.
Yeah.
So I'll text Will at 9 and say,
Reddy gives me the heads up. He's a good man.
I'm running some scores because he likes to watch the match as if it's live, which is totally fair enough. But yeah, big Pacers, man. Have they ever won one?
Haven't won an NBA champ. Have won ABA championships before the leagues merged, but haven't won in the NBA. No, made it in 2000. Back in the early days of the internet, I listened to it on the radio, the local radio call.
Oh, wow.
So they're currently going against Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, the second round.
So there's 8 teams to go.
But if they get through this, then basically they're into the equivalent of the preliminary final.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 8 teams to go at the moment, isn't there?
Not favoured to do so. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, it's been a good ride so far.
Good start, though.
Terrific start.
Yeah, 1-0.
Do you think, can I just change the subject? Do you reckon the AFL, to change the whole narrative around the Willie Rioli debacle, they should refund Ken Hinkley's $20,000, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
They should just send him a check and say, listen, this was a stuff-up.
Yeah.
Like, that is the great outlier of all the punishments, is it not?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some people have put together the thread of all the recent non-football related sanctions the AFL have issued, from
dressing up as the Twin Towers at a Christmas party,
rank jokes at a Christmas party, to offensive comments that have been overheard,
potentially killing someone in a car park.
That's right. Threatening violence. We're going to talk about this after 7 o'clock this morning as part of our news wrap. So we're going to go.
It is a shambles.
We're going to get deep into this Willie Rioli situation. The revelation, of course, overnight. There's now this most recent incident is one of 3 times.
That's the big kicker. And look, like you said, after 7 you'll have it covered. And then with David Koch, regardless of what he says, that'll make national headlines. So. Big morning coming up.
Yeah, most certainly. Good on you,
stuff,
Randy.
boys.
On you, Tom.
All right, 5AA News is coming up. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers easing today, a top of 21 with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
A man's been critically injured in a crash at Kangaroo Flat near Roseworthy just after 7:15 last night. The man was airlifted to hospital from the single vehicle accident. Investigations continue as a 34-year-old man fights for life after an assault at Murray Bridge. He was found dumped in a shopping trolley at a house on Newman Avenue just before midday with a serious head injury. Police don't believe it's a random attack. Today marks National Domestic Violence Remembrance Day. Advocates are pushing for a response to the national crisis, arguing education and reform is key. 37 women were killed by a current or former partner in 2024. Full Stop Australia CEO Karen Bevan says the statistics are far too high.
We are losing way too many women and children every year to this horrific experience, and as a community we have to say no.
While a state MP will face court today charged with the alleged assault of his wife, Nick McBride, elected for the Liberal Party to represent the seat of McKillop but now an independent, went to the Norwood Police Station last month where he was charged with 3 counts of assault. Staying positive might be the new way to beat chronic pain. More from reporter Gabrielle Hodson.
People in a new emotional therapy study say that after 6 months, they had better emotional regulation and a 10% reduction in reports of physical pain. The University of New South Wales and Neuroscience Research Australia have worked together to create a digital health treatment to retrain emotional processes involved in the catastrophising of pain. News Corp says that patients who'd put up with 30 years of pain have been able to reduce their use of morphine for the first time. All up, almost 90 people made use of group therapy, an app and handbooks, with authors saying it was a more holistic way of treating pain by addressing social and psychological issues.
Scientists have found termites play a crucial role in regenerating forests. James Cook University tracked the decomposition of wooden blocks for 4 years, finding the insects recycle nutrients and release carbon into the soil. New Zealand's Prime Minister has proposed banning social media access for children under 16 after a similar move by Australia that kicks in by the end of the year. The BBC's Phil Mercer reports.
Christopher Luxon wants to force social media companies to verify that users in New Zealand are at least 16 years old or face fines of more than $1 million. But Mr Luxon doesn't have the support of a key partner in his Conservative coalition. So the social media ban isn't official government policy, but it still could become law. Mr Luxon hopes there'll be enough support in New Zealand's parliament for the measure to pass.
US President Donald Trump says the US will stop bombing Houthi rebels in Yemen. Oman has confirmed the ceasefire between the US and the Houthis has been struck. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And with sport, a big good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Maddie. We're going to start with some football, and Melbourne President Brad Green has labelled the media's treatment of Clayton Oliver as a, quote, absolute disgrace. The President has taken to social media posting a screenshot of a reporter following the midfielder on the way to Melbourne training. Essendon great James Hird telling Nine's Footy Classified the Demons president needs to get off social media.
The other thing I'd say to Brad Green is you're the president. You're not a supporter. You're not a player. You're a president. Act like the president. Stay off social media, because that doesn't go down well for Brad Green.
Aussie Kimberly Birrell has been knocked out in the first round of the Italian Tennis Open. This, of course, is the tournament with Jannik Sinner making his return from a doping ban. The Denver Nuggets have won Game 1 of their best-of-7 NBA series against the Oklahoma City Thunder, following a thrilling 121 to 119-point win. The game winner coming with only a few seconds left on the clock.
7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon got it! Aaron Gordon with a deep shot. Williams, three-quarter court, no good! The Nuggets steal Game 1!
Yeah, amazing scenes. Audio thanks to ESPN. Incredible scenes also with the soccer in the European Champions League semi-final tie between Barcelona and Inter Milan. That match has finished in 3-3 after the first leg was also 3-3, meaning it's 6-6 on aggregate. That match now heading to extra time. And Australia's come from 24 points down to beat host nation South Africa 29-24 at the Under-20 Rugby Championship. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now 5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing 21 today, cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days Friday, from Friday 21. The weekend up to 24. Currently 16. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes to 7, police and weather coming up this half hour. We're going to check in with Jade Robran as well. Then in an hour's time, Sean Fuster's back on deck. We'll go around the courts. And as Rennie mentioned before the break, David Koch, going to be a fascinating chat after 8 today. Right now, it's time to delve into questions of etiquette. Lucy's in the studio, fresh from a 2:30am workout this morning. Good morning to you, Luce.
Good morning. I was driving in at that time, so I got rained on as I was driving in.
Okay.
I got to the gym at 3, just like to clarify.
Oh, okay. That's perfectly reasonable then.
3 a.m.
It had stopped raining by then. It was very short-lived between Marden and the city. So in that 10 minutes, there was only a little bit of rain. But it was there nonetheless.
Dare I ask, so if 2:30 is the drive to gym time, what's the go-to-bed time?
Not early enough. Last night it was
Well answered.
not early
A
enough.
life in politics awaits. Touch of etiquette this morning, Luce.
Yes, brought to us by Ian Moss, the one and only
yes.
performer. He's been on our program before, and he helpfully
Mossy
raised
from Shizzle.
yesterday. Yes, the very same. He raised in perfect timing to coincide with our Touch of Etiquette segment, which I think he knew was coming up
Yep.
the next morning.
He's a big fan.
They are touring shortly, Ian Moss and his crew, with Cold Chisel, or he's got his own tour, I think, happening. Either way, he has asked for people to not record any of their performances. No photos, no videos. He does not want to see phones. When he looks out into the crowd, he doesn't want to see phones doing this. He just wants to see people's
Just rocking out.
Yeah.
heads, banging, hands up. I mean, whatever you do if you're in the mosh pit at these concerts, that's what he wants to see.
I wonder what he's going to... If you hold a phone up, does he stop playing?
Well...
Wasn't there a concert recently in the US where people were told on arrival they had to
surrender
check in
your
their
phone.
phones? They had to hand them in at the
I don't know
cloakroom.
about handing in a phone at a concert. I don't think you can be made to do that.
Well, there was a great photo taken a few years ago of the Pope at the Vatican. It might have been when Francis became the Pope. And the first time he came out, they had a photo from the 1980s, was it, or late 70s, of John Paul II, and everyone just standing there looking at him and smiling. This huge crowd in Vatican Square. And then when Pope Francis came out, there were all these young Catholics, and every single one of them was holding up their phone.
You did something that I think is just not true. This is not just a young person problem.
Yeah.
This is to me, and we want to ask people this morning for
Yes.
Touch of Etiquette, Luce.
Yeah, is Ian Moss
Right.
is he right to say
Should we ban phones at
should
concerts?
we ban phones? And his post on social media reads yesterday, just to paraphrase it, to ensure the best possible experience for everyone, both the audience and the artist, photography and video recording will not be permitted during the performance. There will be no exceptions. Venue staff have been briefed and will help enforce the policy.
Should filming or on your phone photos at concerts be banned or not? 8223 This to me, we are going to walk headlong into what I like to call the maths rule this morning, where everyone I suspect is going to say ban it, ridiculous. I think it's ruining concerts.
Yep.
But they all do it.
Every time you go to a concert, it's about 98% of people are doing it.
So what you're saying, the maths rule comes from the fact that everyone says, oh, you wouldn't catch me watching maths.
Yet it's the highly rated show on television.
Right.
That's my maths rule. Joe in Australia, of course you're in Australia, you just called in. Joe, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I've been to a fair few concerts in my lifetime, sporting events all around the world, so I've been pretty lucky with that. It absolutely annoys the buggery out of me, people on phones recording the whole thing. I can remember a Bryan Adams concert where a lady in front of me, and like we say, not just young people, she would have been, I'm going to guess, and I'll probably insult her, around 60 years old, taped the entire 2-hour concert.
I don't get that.
With the hand. But the thing is, I've taped stuff in the past. I've gone all overseas. I've never once gone back and watched it.
That's the perfect
one point. Now, my only exception to that is I taped a little bit of Taylor Swift at Wembley, and I've rewatched that. Every other
That's
concert.
fair enough.
Yeah, every other concert though, Joe, I've never gone back and rewatched. And in fact, I've gone back years later and just deleted it without even rewatching it because it's clogging up space.
The point is, what's the point? You're just annoying someone else. And if you go back and watch it, it's actually better. Like my wife's loves Taylor Swift as well, and she just watches the LA concert. It's way better than any of her footage. So
You just watch the Netflix special. Just go on YouTube. That's what YouTube is there for.
What a great call, Joe. Thank you. Let's go to Parafield Gardens. Drew, good morning.
Yes, good morning, guys. I just quickly wanted to say, look, you're paying $200 a ticket, probably up more. I think you should be able to video or film it if you want. I've used social media and actually watched live concerts on TikTok late at night time in bed. I just think with someone filming it, I think you should be able to. It's your right if you want to do it. If the artist doesn't like it, then, Steph, they should be able to put up with it.
Good on you, Drew.
I mean, Drew makes a good point. For those people who perhaps can't afford to go to particular concerts, like not everyone could afford to go to Taylor Swift or various concerts, and therefore get joy in seeing it on social media, take photos, take a few videos.
I don't know, that was a thing that people did live streaming him. on
No,
like
I didn't-
TikTok or whatnot.
Didn't
Never
know
heard
that
before.
either. But if you take a little clip or something and you post it later, and people be like, "Oh, that's what it looks like." Cool.
Part of it, I think, is almost in the digital age, and I think you're right. Well, it does traverse the generations because there's plenty of oldies who are mad on the Facebook and so on. It's always like people have this sense now that if they don't record it somehow, maybe it didn't even really happen.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's funny. I had this
Yeah,
conversation.
people
it's
got to
like proof of
share
life.
to prove that they've done it. I don't think that needs to exist personally, but anyway.
There's a band I really like called Superchunk, who are from North Carolina. They played the Lion Arts Centre in November last year. It was dead set one of the best gigs I've been to.
And how much of that concert did you post?
Well, I didn't post any of it, but
Exactly. Because you just enjoyed it. You
Years
were there.
ago, I went to see them in Melbourne with mates when we were in our early 20s, and we almost had, well, we did have a massively serious car accident. Luckily, no one was injured, but we basically rode off this hire car. And anyway, at the end of the concert, I went and spoke to Mac, the lead singer, and I was just telling him, I said, I've loved your band so long, mate. And I said, I almost paid the ultimate sacrifice seeing Superchunk in Melbourne in about 1994. He said, oh, what happened? And I told him this story, and we just had this really good meandering conversation. This was at the merch stand where they're selling records and everything. And a few people had got selfies with him. And at the end, I thought, maybe I'll ask him for a selfie. And then I thought, no, I don't need a selfie with him. I've just had a nice chat with him. And I was talking to one of my mates later, and I thought, I half regretted not getting the selfie.
Selfies, I think, are fine.
No, but I actually think he liked the fact that there was no selfie attached to the
there was
conversation.
no payoff at the
It was
end.
just like a real conversation.
Yeah. It was a human interaction.
Yeah.
Carlos is on the line in the in Inman Valley. Morning to you, Carlos.
Morning, lads, and Luce. I would ban it. In fact, I'd actually go one step further, just ban mobile phones altogether. Life was so much better without them. You know, we were actually connected. We spoke. We live in this artificial world now. It's just terrible.
We could all find each other for a drink or a feed, couldn't we, Carlos, back in the day?
Yep. And you know what? When I was a kid, if I wanted to go see where my mate was, I got him a push bike and rode to his house. And if he wasn't there, I'd go to the park and all the boys would be down there. And it was just so much better.
We're getting a few texts through. I got a text from a mate of mine who was at the Cruel Sea Friday night. They played at the Dunstan Playhouse. They were all told no videos, no photos. So, and he said maybe it's a venue thing. Back in the day, a lot of it was about bootlegs. Because bootleg recordings were seen as an attack on copyright. So that was why there was no recording allowed.
We had in cinemas, that was a real concern. Someone sitting there with a little camcorder recording the whole thing.
Then they'd run off VHS tapes of Flying High or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Good topic, Liz.
Is anyone going to the Ian Moss concert, I wonder? Is anyone disappointed now that they can't film it or take photos, or are they happy to just be there and soak up the atmosphere?
Lots of people on the text line are talking about other events around the world where you can't do it. Like the Masters, Will from Goodwood makes the point. At the Masters, you've got to surrender your phone on the way in. You just stay at the golf all day and you can't connect with the outside world. There are other concerts.
Tom Wren would love that.
Tom Red would love that. Andrew in Kersbrook says Tool do the same thing, the band Tool. If you use a phone during the set, they remove you.
Seriously?
Yeah, apparently.
But is that not more disruptive? People, excuse me, got to stop the song. You down there, row G, seat 55, security, come down here and take that person. Is that not more disruptive than just ignoring the phone and playing on?
I would hope security can do it in a more discreet fashion than having to stop the show, but maybe not.
The lead singer of Tool has become a really good winemaker, and he made a wine with a local Adelaide winery.
Is that right?
Yeah. And they're a metal band. But he's a really, really good winemaker.
Luke says, I think it's the right of the artist to decide whether they are recorded or not. And Ben Jordan sent through one of the great sport photos of all time. It was the moment LeBron James broke the scoring record, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record that everyone thought would never be broken. And the picture is of him taking the shot, but the focus is on the background where must be 2,000 people in the shot. Everyone's got a phone out, except one old fella sitting in the front row who's just sitting there with his hands in his lap, just soaking it all in.
Yeah,
It's a great picture.
That is an amazing picture.
Thank you, Ben. 8223 you can text us on the text line as well, 0448 08 1395. We're going to check traffic for the first time this morning and come back with police and weather in just a moment. Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today, expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like it.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Got a two-car collision at Elizabeth South to look out for this morning. It's on Phillip Highwood at Hogarth Road. We are slow for works at Croydon, Port Road near Queen Street. Speeds at 40 for works at Fulham this morning, Henley Beach Road near Tapley's Hill Road, and down to 40 for works to South Road, Clovelly Park, just near Audi. Cameras, Old South Road, Old Ranella, and Anglevale Road at Evanston Gardens this morning. Office Works have great tech, craft and personalised gifts for Mum this Mother's Day. So you can say, thanks Mum. Shop in-store, online or via the Office Works app today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
City Discount Tires. Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock-solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price. Are painful muscle cramps stopping you doing the things you love or waking you up at night? Caruso's Super Magnesium is a time-release formula with 6 types of magnesium which relieves painful muscle cramps when dietary intake is inadequate and supports muscle health and function. Caruso's Super Magnesium comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Get back to doing what you love with Caruso's Super Magnesium. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Ready for your next adventure? Austrac campers are built tough for Australia's wild landscapes. From the coast to the outback, you'll experience unmatched quality with every adventure.
Austrac campers. Steinborner has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, 7-year unlimited K warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 impresses with a turbocharged diesel engine, 4x4 dual-range transmission, 3-tonne towing capacity and can easily handle a full-size Aussie pallet with 1,045 kilo payload. All this from $45,980 drive away. Jack Motors, it's well worth the trip. Gawler, Barossa and Clare or at gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 minutes to 7. Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Daniel Sherwin-Simpson is on duty this morning. Daniel, a couple of questions for you before we get to what looks like a pretty pleasant weather pattern over the next few days. How much rain did we get overnight, and is there any more on the way today?
Well, in the city gauge down at West Terrace, we've seen 2.2 millimetres so far. A little bit higher up in the hills, they've seen some parts sort of getting in the sort of 4 to 8 millimetres generally.
Wow.
Mount Lofty's the highest up with 9 millimetres. And there might be a little bit more on the way. We're sort of seeing some stuff on the radar out over the Gulf at the moment. That could be maybe, an hour or two away, but we're not looking at anything sort of significant. So it might be worth bringing an umbrella if you're walking into work this morning, just in case. But we could see another millimetre or two here or there, I would say. But as you mentioned, looking ahead, we've got a pretty nice weather pattern sitting in the sort of low 20s for the next couple of days, moving up to the mid-20s out over the weekend and into the new week.
Good stuff, Daniel. Daniel Sherwin-Simpson there from the Bureau of Meteorology.
All right, let's head to Safe Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes is on the line. This sounds awful, Rebecca. There was a fatal hit-run crash at Hillcrest last night.
Good morning. Yes, this is a shocking crash at Hillcrest. Emergency services responded to North East Road, Hillcrest, about 11 p.m. last night after a young woman was hit by a car. Sadly, there was nothing that the police or paramedics could do at the scene, and the 20-year-old woman from Greenacres was pronounced deceased. Major crash investigators attended and examined the scene overnight. The crash occurred on North East Road on the north-eastbound carriageway near Forbes Street, near the service station there. Investigators have spoken to several witnesses who described seeing a silver sedan involved in the crash, but it didn't stop at the scene, and we're urging that driver to come forward. We're seeking anyone with information about this silver sedan. It may possibly have some front-end damage, or the driver is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. We're also appealing for any other witnesses or any motorists with dash cam. We know there were some vehicles travelling northeast on Northeast Road last night around the time of the crash or just beforehand. We're also seeking the dash cam footage of the woman's presence on the roadway before the fatal crash. It's understood that she did spend some time on the road before she was actually struck. So we're keen to piece together sort of her last movement. So anyone with any dash cam or saw the woman as they were travelling through the Hillcrest area last night is urged to contact police.
What a shocking story. Rebecca, also a motorcyclist has been arrested using false plates and stolen plates.
Yes, this was just before 5:30 last night. Patrols were driving along at Yalumba Drive at Paralawi and they saw a motorcycle on the side of the road, and checks on the rego revealed that the number plate was recorded as stolen. So they stopped and spoke with the rider, and a further examination of the motorcycle revealed that the plates didn't match the bike, and that bike had been unregistered since the start of the year. So he's put stolen plates on an unregistered bike to somehow make that better. We searched him and allegedly found he was in possession of methamphetamine. And further checks revealed his licence was also disqualified and he was wanted on a warrant and breaching his bail. So this 41-year-old man from Paralawi is in a world of trouble and will be facing court today.
That's actually good. That's like broken windows policing about the people who jump the turnstile to avoid paying for their subway tickets. Invariably, we've got a whole raft of other things going on.
Yeah, usually have warrants. They seem to go hand in hand.
Exactly. Hey, Rebecca, just before we let you go, you got a bit of an update on that crash at Kangaroo Flat last night.
Yeah, sadly, a young boy is fighting for his life in hospital after this crash at Kangaroo Flat last night. About 7:15 p.m, emergency services were called to Hayden Road at Kangaroo Flat after reports that a car had crashed into a heavy roller that was parked on the side of the road. The driver and sole occupant is a 17-year-old boy from Gawler Belt. He suffered life-threatening injuries and was airlifted to hospital. Our major crash officers also attended this scene last night to help local patrols with the investigation, which is ongoing into that crash.
Thanks for that, Rebecca. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes there from SAPOL. I really like this text earlier, no name given. I thought it was very clever. We're talking about how the ATO's advising people this year when they're doing their tax returns. Just ask yourself, does this pass the pub test? And what a hard to pin down bit of advice that is. One text here says, well, which pubs? There's a big difference between a pub in Elizabeth versus a pub in Burnside.
It's a good point.
Although, is it perhaps a counterintuitive point? Because I would say when it comes to tax avoidance, maybe the pub test that the ATO really doesn't want is the Burnside one.
You definitely.
Because I reckon they'd know more about white-collar crime and tax avoidance at the top of the roundabout.
We all hope it's
the
Burnside pub test.
The Elizabeth pub test might just be, just actually stealing stuff. Breaking into the ATO.
Russell in St Peters has made the point too. Ben Jordan's picture that he sent through to us regarding LeBron James breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record, the person sitting in the front row without the phone out that I mentioned before, hands crossed, just taking in the moment, is, according to Russell, Phil Knight, the founder of Nike.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
He's got a book. He's got a book. I can't recall what it's called now, but a lot of young enterprising types that go into business love reading it. People rave about Phil Knight's book. I can't think of the name of it now. It's just escaped me. Let's
imagine how much
Shoe Dog,
worth.
Lucy. Thank you. Shoe Dog's the one.
Shoe Dog
tells the story of how they started that company and
what must that guy be worth?
Well, it's a little bit less at the moment, actually, as it turns out. But still pretty good. Let's head out the road and check in with Jade Robran for the first time on this Wednesday morning. Good morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. I love this story. Valerie the sausage dog has been reunited with her owners in the last few hours. So after 529 days roaming around Kangaroo Island and 11 days since she was rescued, she ran into the arms and licked the faces of her owners, Georgia and John, in a really emotional emotional reunion. It is just beautiful. The couple, they said they were really, really nervous about the reunion because that long in the wild, you know, how would she react? Would she even remember them? Would she even want to see them? Would she feel rejected? You left me on this island. How dare you? But no, it was a really, really sweet reunion, and she showed them lots of love. Their tail was wagging. She was licking their faces. So we know Valerie escaped from their campsite in Stokes Bay back in November the 13th in 2023 and has been popping up all over the island, a bit like the Loch Ness Monster, like all those little photos. Is she real? Is it real? Is this really happening? And then, yes, it is really happening. This dear little sausage dog. And guys, I have a sausage dog called George, and he's never further than half a metre from me, including when I go to the bathroom. He is completely hopeless when it comes to food. So how on earth this tiny little sausage dog has coped out there in the wild, scrounging for food on his own, he is just a dead set, well, she is just a dead set legend. But so are her rescuers. Jared and Lisa, they own Kangilla Wildlife Rescue, and they made it their mission to find Valerie and just set up this really clever, it was a kind and friendly trap, and they eventually managed to capture Valerie. And for the past 11 days, they've been looking after her and basically helping the pup adjust back into being a pet rather than a roaming wild animal, back to being a gorgeous little cuddly pet. So they've done an incredible job. Here's a clip from Jared, all thanks to the advertiser.
Yeah, look, it's been a real ride. It's certainly not what we planned from the beginning, but now that we're here and seeing the reaction of Valerie today to seeing her mum and dad
and George and George. Oh my God!
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was focused on the dog. Yeah. Was awesome, and yeah, it makes everything that we've all been through worthwhile.
I feel a strange kinship with Valerie because I've daydreamed about disappearing on Kangaroo Island for a long period of time as well. In quite a moment. So I think, what I'd like to do is go to Kangaroo Island, just not be seen or heard from for a long, long time.
I think, that would probably involve eating at that Sunsets restaurant.
That's true. That'd be nice.
Is it False Cape? Is that the winery? There's a lot of good ones. Well, there's a few good ones over there. The guy who started Nike's worth $29 billion.
Okay, he's probably doing all right then.
Yeah, you can probably take a bit of a tariff hit.
Withstand a bit of share market downturn.
Yeah. Have we worked out how tariffs are going to affect movies yet?
No, no one knows. No one knows how that's going to work.
We were talking about home last night.
The people that invest in movies don't think it's going to be great for American movie companies because the shares of all the major producers in the US went down overnight. Which is it's a weird reaction to a policy that's meant to make them stronger.
Yeah.
But they obviously know a bit about the intricacies of how that might be implemented. It's coming up to 5AA News time. We're going to wrap up the morning stories coming up in just a moment.
Parties, weddings, big events. What do they all have in common? Pals. You know your pals want to have a good time, but what will everyone want to drink? That's when you need to speak to Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals will make sure you've got the right type of drinks, the right amount, and best of all, we'll make sure you've got the best labels that will keep everyone talking about your event. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Over the last couple of years, my husband of 30 years had died and my mother had passed away. And she had left me, as we all have, a lot of jewellery in drawers and things. I've always gone in there and just asked them if we could do something with all of this and create something that was nice. We did, and they've been absolutely fabulous. The whole staff at Martin Rogers are just wonderful.
Martin Rogers Jewellery. Timeless designs, unforgettable stories. martinrogers.com.au.
At Meals on Wheels SA, they believe there should be a magic moment in everyone's day. So every meal on wheels is nutritious, wholesome, something to look forward to. The Big Brunch is a unique way to share the love and connect the community. You can host your own Big Brunch at home, in the office or at school and help Meals on Wheels SA continue to make a difference this June. To get started on your Big Brunch, go to thebigbrunchdrive.com.
New car? Holiday? Why not both? At Edwardstown Mazda's biggest ever end of financial year sale, you'll drive away with up to $10,000 in savings and go into the draw to win the ultimate New Zealand getaway. Flights, accommodation, wine tour and more. All sorted. Don't choose between a car, a holiday or great savings. Get all three. Only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers easing 21 with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Police are appealing for information after a young woman was killed in a hit-run crash at Hillcrest last night. The 20-year-old from Greenacres was struck at 11 p.m. on North East Road. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says they're looking for a silver car which didn't stop.
The crash occurred on North East Road on the north-eastbound carriageway near Forbes Street, near the service station there. Investigators have spoken to several witnesses who described seeing a silver sedan involved in the crash, but it didn't stop at the scene, and we're urging that driver to come forward.
She's the 29th person to lose her life on our roads this year. A 17-year-old boy, meantime, in a critical condition in hospital after a single car crash at Kangaroo Flat near Roseworthy last night. The crash occurred at around 7:15. The young man was airlifted to hospital. Police don't believe an assault on a man at Murray Bridge yesterday was a random attack. The 34-year-old suffered an injury to the back of his head. He was found dumped in a shopping trolley at a house on Newman Avenue just before midday. The victim in a critical condition in hospital. Candlelight vigils will be held across the country today, marking National Domestic Violence Remembrance Day. Last year there were 39 DV-related murders across the state, nearly 40,000 incidents of domestic violence-related assault. Meantime, the state member for MacKillop facing court today, charged with the alleged assault of his wife. Independent former Liberal MP Nick McBride was charged last month at the Norwood Police Station. The newly elected Canadian Prime Minister continues to resist Donald Trump's pressure to make Canada the 51st state. Mark Carney has met with the US President in the White House. Mr. Carney ruling out falling under US rule, but says the magic is within the partnership between the two.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months. It's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
But never say never.
Cardinals are preparing to enter seclusion inside the Vatican to vote on Pope Francis' successor. More from Nine's European correspondent, Jessica Millwood.
In the coming hours, the Cardinals will take an oath of secrecy and the doors to the Sistine Chapel will close as the conclave commences. Cardinals have spent the day moving into their lodgings inside the Vatican, where they'll stay for an indefinite amount of time while the ancient tradition plays out. 133 Cardinals will vote. On day one, there will be one ballot following a mass, 4 on subsequent days, until eventually the 267th Pope is found.
Retailers hoping for a mini boom in the lead up to Mother's Day. The Australian Retailers Association says shoppers are expected to splash $1 billion this year. Their survey suggesting the average spend will go up from $102 last year to $141 this year. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Matty. The AFL has come under fire for not punishing Port Adelaide star Willie Rioli for threatening a Bulldogs player after allegations emerged of other similar incidents. Christina Hearn is at AFL House.
Port Adelaide forward Willie Rioli sent a social media message warning Bulldogs defender Bailey Dale not to leave his hotel room in Darwin when the side travelled up there this weekend because he had lots of mates in the top end. Rioli apologised to Dale for those comments and the AFL considered it case closed. But it's now emerged Rioli allegedly made on-field threats against players in matches against Geelong and the Bombers. The AFL is facing heavy criticism for being inconsistent, with players fined for offensive on-field gestures, but for threatening a player, no punishment is dished out.
Let's go to soccer. Extraordinary scenes in the European Champions League semi-final tie between Inter Milan and Barcelona. Now, the first leg was a 3-3 draw, and Inter led the second leg 2-0 this morning before Barca hit back with 3 second-half goals to lead 3-2, meaning they were 6-5 up on aggregate in the 88th minute. And then, deep in stoppage time, this happened.
Referee says play on, Dumfries into the net! It's another twist! It's a goal by Francesco Acerbi at the age of 36 to make it 6. 6 on aggregate. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the crowd just going wild there. Audio thanks to Stan Sport. It's now deep into extra time. Inter have just scored again, and they now lead 7-6 on aggregate. Amazing. Matty, that is the 5AA score.
That is amazing. Thank you, Tom. Let's check the roads around Adelaide this morning.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Morning there. Got a small two-car bingle getting cleaned up at the moment at Elizabeth South. It's on Phillip Highway near Hogarth Road. Works at Croydon to look out for, Port Road near Queen Street, and we're a little bit sluggish at the moment at Woodville for works too, Woodville Road near Russell Terrace. Getting busy, South Road, Clovelly Park, speeds at 40 for works with the camera this morning, Rosedale Road at Rosedale. Panadol helps relieve everyday pain, not the pain of the traffic around you, but for the headache it gives you. Panadol's got you covered. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Incorrect use could be harmful. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing 21 today, cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days from Friday 21 and the weekend up to 24. Currently it is 16. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you. If you're joining us for the first time on this Wednesday, the 7th of May. The sun is up.
How good's this song?
We're going to get to say that a fair bit over the course of the next 5 or 6 days.
This is the song
beautiful sunrises.
This is the song where you knew In Excess were just going to be such a
great song,
fantastic band, and that clip with on that flatbed truck and in the shed. Just was it Shabu Shabar was the record?
No,
Great record.
It's good stuff. So from Friday through to Tuesday, according to the weather forecast, nothing but sun, not even a cloud in the sky. Today there might be a bit more rain, and tomorrow there'll be a bit of cloud. But other than that, what a Mother's Day weekend we've got ahead. Great hour ahead too. Sean Fuster's going to be on the program. David Koch not too far away. Let's jump into the news wrap this morning. We'll start local and get to some international stuff, and then talk about the biggest debate in sport at the moment, the AFL, surrounding a Port player, Willie Rioli. Let's start hyper-local. You know our good friends Clarity Records look like they're on the cusp of being no more, at least at their location. They've been there for a long time. People that don't know, Clarity Records not far from us here in Hindmarsh Square, and they have supported things like our Grand Vinyl Eve party. We've worked with them a lot over the years.
Loveliest couple going around, Matt and Laura. It's a real passion project for them. And
saw Matt at the footy, actually, not too far.
He's a big footy guy.
He's a big
Loves
guy.
his footy.
So the reason behind this is that block that also contains a wine bar and a cafe are the subject of plans by Pulteney Street Student Accommodation, which lodged a development application on Monday of this week with plans to demolish the existing buildings and structures and build a 35-level mixed-use building comprising student accommodation with associated amenities in communal areas and ground-level shops.
So for associated amenities, what you're talking about there is probably going to be some sort of internet cafe, some sort of late-night tobacconist.
I don't think internet cafes exist anymore.
Well, whatever. A place that sells phone cards. Like,
sure.
Point taken. Well, you know, you look down the Uni SA end of Hindley Street, and there's always like shops selling phone cards and things like that for the international students. What Adelaide really needs as a city, I say this tongue-in-cheek, is another soulless, drab black tower to accommodate as many commerce students from China as possible. I mean, crikey, if that's the aesthetic future of this city, God help us all. We saw the Crown and Anchor almost...
That's the Premier's vision, isn't it?
Well, it's...
It is.
It's a huge export industry, education, and I think I've got no issue with overseas students, but the problem is the way this is being done in a architectural sense, an aesthetic sense, in a sense of how the city is going to look. Are we at the point where only the absolutely most unique buildings in Adelaide are going to be retained? You know, like no one's going to knock down, say, I don't know. The cathedral, yeah. St. Xavier's.
Or Mason's Hall.
Yeah. But everything else is open slater? Does that mean that any house in Wright Street or Sturt Street is no longer safe. Any
Surely
beautiful old Art Deco home, any of the workers' cottages on Carrington Street, that building where Clarity is. You know, a little 2-story building on the corner of the square where Academy Cinemas and Liberty Books and all of those places used to be. The Aurora Hotel, to mention one such heritage blue that the city had back in the 1980s.
Well, I just wonder,
it's just going to look like...
Does this pass the Cranker test? Like, well, how popular does a venue have to be to get personal intervention from the Premier?
Well, I don't think he would intervene in this.
No, I don't think he will
either. It's just a lease question. They can find a lease somewhere else. Plenty of empty buildings in Adelaide. Plenty of empty office spaces. But it's what is that? What is the square going to look like? It's going to get to the point where our 5 squares are just completely flanked by these monstrous buildings. I mean, you go down the western end of Adelaide, the southwestern end of Adelaide. Sorry, the north. Hang on, my compass is completely arsed about. Go to the northwestern corner of the city, in and around Weymouth Street, and particularly down the Grote and Goodger Street end towards West Terrace. Some of the ugliest buildings ever built occupy that corner of the CBD. Don't you reckon?
Yeah.
They're just horrible.
On North Terrace, there's this terrific restaurant called Golden Boy, on that sort of to get to the corner of North and East Terrace towards the gardens there. I only bring that up. They've got a warning out at the moment, and I wonder if anyone's fallen foul to a similar scam to this, where someone is telling their customers, and this is really intriguing as to how this even operates, this scam. You get some sort of communication from them, purporting to be from them, saying that you must pay a $150 deposit to confirm your reservation. That suggests an intimate knowledge of who's got reservations at the restaurant. In any case, they say, we've never taken anything like that. We will never ask you for that. They say they are actively investigating the situation, that these emails are scam, was not sent by the restaurant. They never request deposits via email, and any communication from them will always come from the official email address.
So how does it work? Like,
that's a great question.
Get an email thinking, oh, hang on, how would you do a phishing scam based on the hope that someone's got a booking?
It seems way too specific, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's an intriguing story, one to watch out for this morning. There's some big stuff going on internationally as well as we speak. You're going to hear a lot about India, Pakistan and the Kashmir region over the course of today. The Indian government has launched an attack on 9 sites in Pakistan. By attack, they mean missiles have been launched. They've also launched an attack into the Pakistan-administered part of Kashmir. Pakistan's military says, in fact, it's 3 locations that have been attacked. They have already responded with artillery fire back across the border. Now, if you're wondering, well, hang on, where the hell's all this come from? You might recall there was a terror attack in Kashmir last month, and India is saying, well, what we're doing is we're routing out the areas and places that sympathise with terrorists and sustain them, enable them. That's what this attack's about. Pakistan say it's an attack on their sovereignty. That's one to watch today. Overnight, whilst you were sleeping, there was this really potentially awkward, and I did get a bit awkward exchange between the new, the re-elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and the US President Donald Trump. And everyone was watching this thinking, we're going to get another Zelensky in the Oval Office kind of moment here.
He's going to get told off.
Well, they were sitting next to each other, and inevitably the conversation got to Canada becoming the 51st state.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security.
It was actually pretty cordial, as you heard the tone of it. Donald Trump said that the countries will remain friends, irrespective of what brouhaha they've got going on with regard to tariffs at the moment. But the whole thing was saying Carney was pretty deft with how he handled Trump, I thought, in the bit that was public about that meeting. He praised him for the way he's reordered defence priorities around the world, which is that's the truth. He has done that. He's forced countries that have been living high on the hog of the US for a long, long time.
Transformative president.
That's right.
A transformative president.
But at the same time, he seemed pretty forceful on where the state of their relationship with Canada is at the moment as well.
That meeting between Carney and Trump, that's going to have to become the model for Albo, because the recently re-elected in a landslide Prime Minister confirmed on Sunday that he's got 2 trips that are uppermost in his mind now that he's been returned. The first is to Indonesia, which is, I think, eminently sensible, hugely important. They had that embarrassment during the campaign about Russia's attempts to cuddle up even further militarily with the Indonesians. So the PM is going to head to Jakarta to show them some love. But the other trip that he's flagged is the US. It'll be a big story when Albanese goes to Washington. And, the thing is, Trump's sort of like the human version of the angry email, where he says things on Truth Social and he says things at press conferences and so forth. And when he's doing those long-form interviews that he does frequently on stations like Fox and so on, he really gets it up a head of steam. But then when he actually sees people generally, he's way more convivial and self-deprecating, and he listens. He sort of sits there listening, even though he, still has the capacity to shoot his mouth off.
But the thing is, his strength in life is working people, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
That's the best thing. That's his best strength. He works people. Like he gets that. I think when there's no other person there, it's just a microphone or a camera.
Yeah.
He just spins off into his own sort of narrative fancy. But
Albo will watch that Carney thing and go, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Because he can't turn up like some giggly schoolboy, oh, I'm in the White House. Like he's got to say on behalf of Australia, look, friends don't deserve to be treated like this.
Completely. Let's talk about Willie Rioli, shall we? We spoke about this story a little bit yesterday in the context of how pathetic the sanction was, the non-existent sanction was against him for threatening the well-being of Bailey Dale in the NT when the Bulldogs next play there via a teammate. He said he might not want to leave his hotel room, and the AFL said, well, nothing to see here. Well, the story developed. Have a listen to Eddie Maguire on Footy Classified last night.
Whether or not they want to then retrospectively go back and give him a suspension or a fine, that's up to the AFL. But there now has to be a come-to-Jesus moment in this situation. You cannot be going out threatening people in those ways on a football field.
You notice he used a plural there, ways. Well, this is what came to light last night. This is not the first time that Willie has been threatening.
That's right, Kane. It's only come to light in recent days, although the AFL has been aware of it for a year. So it was a hot game. It was a fiery game between Geelong and Port Adelaide at GMHBA Stadium. A pretty violent, bordering on horrific threat was made to a Geelong player by Willie Rioli. A lot of players heard it. I'm told the response from the Port Adelaide players, those who were within earshot, was a bit, not this again.
And the Herald Sun reporting this morning that there was reportedly a third incident where Rioli allegedly said similar threatening words to an unnamed Bombers player. So there's a bit of form here, and it sounds like from what Eddie Maguire said, and Caro, form that the AFL's aware of, which again, we repeat, this is the same organisation that fined a bloke for impersonating a plane.
$20,000.
And yet,
stop and think about that. That's a very, very large amount of money.
It's a huge amount of money.
20 grand.
Yet
so
no case to answer
20 grand.
For a recidivist person who threatens violence.
Well, I think clearly there's two things here. I think the AFL are being, and this is probably in keeping with their politically correct traditions, I think the AFL are being very squeamish about this because Willie Rioli is an Indigenous person. And I also think that given the very fraught history of the relationship between football and the broader Rioli family, most recently with the dramatic allegations and then long drawn-out conclusion to the Hawthorn stuff, which clearly still causes great distress to Willie Rioli, I reckon the AFL are just like, you can imagine in the corridor after the formal meeting, someone talking to Andrew Dillon going, look, do we really need another major drama with the Rioli family?
Well, they've got one now.
Well, they have, but I reckon...
Yeah, I know what you said. That's the thinking that went into...
by trying to tiptoe around it, they've turned it into something bigger.
I mean, you talk mechanically, or you could use the example, the Twin Towers dress-up. Yeah, a pretty off-colour, ugly joke. But a joke.
I had no issue with that.
Not an actual threat of violence.
I had no issue with it at all. Because so much humour is based on utter tastelessness. And, the idea that the AFL is the arbiter of comedy, I mean, they can't even get the bloody umpiring right. Keep them away from the world of satire. Some jokes are not very funny, but, good on them for trying.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, that's let's say they are the arbiter of comedy, right? That's your baseline. You've said, no, this is the kind of thing we're going to say. We have a zero tolerance policy with anything that's a bit off colour, a bit in bad taste. Well, okay, if that's your line,
threatening to bash people surely meets the test.
Yeah, not in a, I'm going to knock you out next time you run into the football way. In a clearly,
I'm going to get my whole family onto you in Darwin.
Next time you're in a public place, look out. Well, the AFL are pathetic on this.
Well, it's actually different from on-field violence. It's different from, clouting someone or doing a whole staker, like things where people go, oh, maybe that should be the subject of criminal charges. Well, there's a legal consensus, generally speaking, that what happens on the sporting field cannot be treated like common assault. Using your phone to threaten to beat someone up, though, I don't see how that's not in the criminal space. Well, that's got nothing to do with the game. That'd be like if you and I had a blue at work and I send you a text going, Will, I know where you live.
Yeah.
And my mates are coming after you. My old Grange Primary School connections, next time you're at Foodland,
oh dear,
down there on Military Road, watch your ass. I'm coming for you. I reckon the HR department would say something about that.
But you couldn't argue to the police, well, hang on, we're in talkback radio. It gets pretty heated sometimes.
Yeah, I know,
could you?
Exactly.
They go, hang on.
Yeah. You try getting up this early every day.
This is an extraordinary situation. We're looking forward to David Koch's take a little bit later. He's going to be joining us after 8 o'clock today.
It's a hard one for Koshy because you got the sort of player welfare thing. But I actually think deep down, even though it would create a situation where Koshy is effectively arguing publicly that one of his players deserved to be fined or suspended, the greatest inconsistency with all this actually exists at the Port Adelaide Football Club vis-a-vis Ken doing the aeroplane.
Well, that's it. That the greatest contradiction is in the same building.
Yeah, that's right. It's absurd.
All right, we're going to take a break. Lots of thoughts coming through on this on the text line. We'll get to some of those shortly. 0448081395. Traffic first, though. Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today, expertly crafted by a trained barista, just the way you like it.
Thanks, Will. We've still got that two-car collision getting cleaned up at the moment at Elizabeth South, Phillip Highway and Hogarth Road. Works at Fulham to look out for. Tapley's Hill Road at Henley Beach Road, a bit slow through there. And getting busy at the moment, South Road at Clovelly Park for work. Got speeds at 42. Cameras Hub Drive, Aberfoyle Park and Hillier Road at Ranella this morning. Get a taste of the Limestone Coast in Rundle Mall. Meet Pendleton, Olive Estate and Landeer at Pathway Estate today at Urban Kitchen in Rundle Mall. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
We've been hit by the driest time in our recorded history. Northern Australia has an abundance of water, enough to supply the water-starved southern half of the nation. If this was China, they would be building a pipeline from the north to the south. In fact, they've already done it.
Graham Goodings.
Here in Australia, our leaders are hell-bent on winning elections. We do not have any thought of nation-building in this country. It is a sad time indeed.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Make your next business or social event unforgettable at the newly upgraded Spheris. Have your next meeting, private or corporate functions in one of 5 unique spaces, featuring natural light, parkland views and in-house AV for a seamless experience. Choose from the chic Paradiso Bar, modern studio or grand marquee and starlight rooms, whether for 30 or 350 guests. We tailor every detail to your needs and budget. And enjoy complimentary parking and luxury spa accommodation. Find out more at spheris.com.
Here's an important air conditioning tip from Morford Air. Never give your teenagers control over the aircon remote. Your energy bills could go through the roof. Instead, for summer, set it around 21 degrees. It's the most energy efficient temperature. And if you turn it on early, before the teens are out of bed, your system will have less work to do, keeping your home cool all day. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford Air.
Now, home maintenance is exhausting. You need to know a plumber, an electrician, a handyman and a renovator, or you could swap all those numbers for just one, Precise Plumbing and Electrical.
From plumbing and electrical work to pipe relining, bathroom renovations and handyman services, they're your one-stop solution with 25 years' worth of happy customers.
Plus, they'll service all areas of Adelaide and be there on time, every time, with an expert in your field of need, ready to do top-notch work. In fact, they're so confident in their expertise, their workmanship comes with a lifetime warranty.
With free quotes and upfront fixed pricing, Precise Plumbing and Electrical is a name you can trust and the only name you need to remember. Visit preciseservices.com.au.
Hi, Brett Ebert here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. And your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Big news! The 2024 plate clearance sale is on at Austrac Campers. Save up to $11,000 on hybrid campers, plus get a bonus 3.3 kVA generator and 200-watt solar panel with every purchase. Austrac Campers. Limited stock, don't miss out.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
26 minutes after 7, coming up very shortly. Sean Fuster's going to join us. Great to have Sean back on deck. We've missed him over the last few weeks when he's been away. But he'll be back and he'll take us around the courts. We might talk a bit.
It's nice getting our teeth in a. I don't know about you, but by about 11 o'clock on Saturday night, I was like, let's just draw a pretty thick line under this election thing now.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long 5 weeks, wasn't it? It was one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because it's a huge story. And everyone's like, well, we're going to cover the election.
Well, we can't do news.
Yeah, exactly. It's a news station. But sometimes the news can drive you around the twist.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Last night on the sports show, rowing TBG caught up with DJ Vasiljevic from the 36ers because tonight is a big night for basketball at the Entertainment Centre. It's the Trans-Tasman Showdown. Boomers playing the Tall Blacks and the Opals up against the Tall Ferns. Here's DJ with the guys on the sports show.
It hasn't happened for 10 years. We went through a bit of culture and history behind the two teams, and obviously them competing last for 2015, and there was a bit of a feisty one. So it's always a bit of a tradition between the two countries. So I look forward to kind of the Trans-Tasman coming back to life.
Excellent. And the double header too, that makes it even better.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the women played before us, so it'll be good exposure for them. And, you know, obviously Adelaide always turn up for the basketball, so it'll be good because it is a sellout.
It's off season, DJ. You fit?
Yeah, I've been playing NBL 1.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay.
Top of the lap. I'll head over to a little holiday in Europe after everything's done, so I look forward to that.
Good man.
Yeah, it's going to be a big night. It's a great event. It's going to be terrific. It was a good chat last night on the sports show. I don't think we've quite got time for text now. We will do them very shortly.
So many. Yeah. All about the Rioli stuff and the double standards of the AFL.
All right. Well, let's get into them before Sean Fuster, who's coming up right after the break.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of impeccable class and style offer a range of suits by leading Italian brands, including tailor-made wedding packages for the groom and groomsmen. Order 3 tailor-made suits and pay just $799 for each. Order 4 or more for just $749 per suit. Phenomenal value for a quality tailor-made suit. See Ignition for Men for tailor-made wedding packages. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au. T's and C's apply.
When you think of Adelaide Entertainment Centre, you think of this or this. But we also host corporate conferences,
welcome our guests,
charity galas, and functions of all shapes and sizes, with unique spaces shared by superstars and limited by only your imagination. Events at Adelaide Entertainment Centre are like no other. Make your next event a superstar experience. Visit Adelaide Entertainment Centre's website.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. walco.com.au.
New car? Holiday? Why not both? At Edwardstown Mazda's biggest ever end of financial year sale, you'll drive away with up to $10,000 in savings and go into the draw to win the ultimate New Zealand getaway. Flights, accommodation, wine tour and more. All sorted. Don't choose between a car, a holiday or great savings. Get all three. Only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers easing 21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Police are looking for a silver sedan after a hit-and-run crash at Hillcrest killed a 20-year-old woman on North East Road at 11 last night. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says the young woman, the 29th person now to have died on our roads this year.
Seeking anyone with information about this silver sedan. It may possibly have some front-end damage, or the driver is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. We're also appealing for any other witnesses or any motorists with dash cam. We know there were some vehicles travelling northeast on North East Road last night around the time of the crash or just beforehand.
Meantime, a 17-year-old boy is in a critical condition, airlifted to hospital after a single-car crash at Kangaroo Flat near Roseworthy at 7:15 last night. And a man's fighting for life in hospital. The 34-year-old found with a severe wound to the back of his head, dumped in a shopping trolley in Murray Bridge yesterday. Police believe it's a targeted attack. They're hunting for those responsible. The body of a child has been found following a house fire in Toowoomba near Brisbane. The home in Harristown erupted into flames overnight, 2 adults and 4 children narrowly escaping. Chief Superintendent Jason Lawler says 4 people suffered serious injuries.
There was significant burns suffered by some of the family members. QAS treated those family members and they're now in hospital.
YouTube reportedly has told the Albanese government it should be exempted from a world-first ban on social media for children because it already aims to protect them from harmful content. The Financial Review also reporting Meta, Amazon, Netflix, Disney and Google made a combined $15 billion in revenue in Australia last year, but only paid a combined $254 million in company tax. Former CEO of Facebook Australia, Stephen Shearer, saying that all platforms have ways of policing their content.
YouTube, has asserted, hey, we're not like those other guys. We have better controls in place. So I think what we all need to see is, well, let's compare everybody's controls side by side. Let's see how much better they are. I think that's the thing that the public need to understand.
Focusing on positive emotions can be an effective and highly accessible form of chronic pain relief. A Uni of New South Wales study finding using online clinical sessions to retain emotional process reduce pain by 10%. China's angrily condemned job ads aimed at recruiting disillusioned officials to the CIA. The Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jiang says it's a despicable method of stealing the secrets of other countries.
The United States not only maliciously smears and attacks China, but also blatantly deceives and lures Chinese personnel to turn side, and even directly targets Chinese government officials. This is a serious violation of China's national interests.
Introducing termites to replanted forests could help them thrive. A study of the Daintree finding termites and mushroom species can help predict forest health and measure the rate at which carbon is being turned into biomass. James Cook Uni Dr. Alex Cheeseman says they want to use the findings to boost forest regeneration.
Trying to improve strategies to be more cost effective that would allow us to more effectively and in a shorter time span return forests to how they once were.
At least 15 civilians, including a child, have been killed by Indian missile strikes on Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. The strikes are a response to a militant shooting attack which killed at least 26 people in Indian-administered Kashmir last month. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And the problems for Port Adelaide continue, Tom Wren.
Don't they, Matty? And the league too, because Port Adelaide forward Willie Rioli is now being accused of threatening players from 3 clubs. Rioli had to apologise to Western Bulldogs defender Bailey Dale after warning him not to leave his hotel room when the Dogs play in Darwin this weekend. Meantime, Fremantle midfielder Hayden Young will be out for up to 3 months after undergoing surgery on his hamstring. To other sport now, Queensland sprint sensation Gout Gout is setting his eyes on the 2028 Olympics. While the 17-year-old is constantly compared to Usain Bolt, he's planning to carve out his own legacy, and he's told Fox Sports he's focused on getting better.
The times I run so far, I could potentially make it into the finals and make it top 4, top 5, top 6. Just aiming for LA, obviously, would be a great achievement, and trying to be on that podium, running against Sabogo, Noah, Kennedy, all them athletes.
Inter Milan is the first side through to the European Champions League final after a thrilling win against Barcelona. Incredibly, the second leg finished in another 3-3 draw after the first leg was also 3-3 last week. It meant the tie went to extra time where the home side found a winner, much to the delight of the home fans.
Laid off by Mediterranean. Frattesi! Well, he scored a huge goal against Bayern Munich. He's got another one now. And Inter ahead again in this tie.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Inter winning the tie 7-6 on aggregate. They'll now play the winner of Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain, who meet in the second leg of their semi tomorrow. And that's the 5AA Sport.
5AA's traffic.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with C-Max. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Roads are going okay for the run-in today. Touch wood. Do have some works to look out for, but no great delays at any of these. You'll find some at Fulham today, Henley Beach Road near Tapley's Hill Road. Also at Clovelly Park, South Road just near Audi Speeds at 40 for new bitumen that's gone down there. And a bit of activity at Newport this morning too. Nelson Street near North Parade. Camera 2, Hillier Road at Ranella this morning. This end of financial year, make it a Mercedes-Benz with exceptional offers across the range. Terms and conditions apply. Excludes all electric and hybrid models. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing 21 today, cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days Friday, from Friday 21, the weekend up to 24. Currently 17. 5AA, always Adelaide.
It can happen at any time, more often than you think. Suddenly, through illness or accident, you could lose the capacity to manage your financial or personal affairs. What happens next? Who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 8. Sean Fewster's back on deck. We're going to go around the courts for the first time in a while. Looking forward to that. But before I dust off the button, let's get to some text because there's a million coming in on the Willie Rioli situation, which I think is as much the Willie Rioli situation as the AFL situation.
Yeah, I think that's right. And look, I think that it was quite rare in a showdown week. I don't think people are coming at this from some sort of, Crows people going, yeah, let's get him out for the game next Saturday night. Equally, I think Port people are a bit confounded by a lot of Port people, based on the text line, are quite confounded by the inconsistencies too.
Well, the point of reference is the stupid Ken Hinkley fine that was ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few on the Crows side as well. One here from Alfredo saying, well, the Crows dropped a player for saying Port supporters don't have any teeth. Port Adelaide seemed toothless in the Rioli situation. Maybe they should set an example, forget about any of the Indigenous issues and just deal with the problem based on the facts before them. One here says the implications of the AFL standing idle on Willie Rioli's behaviour is arguably the most significant landmark moment in recent football history, and more broadly, the way we as people interact with each other as humans. The standard being set here effectively endorses violent and threatening behaviour at the most public level. Condoning this behaviour has far-reaching consequences across society, and the AFL will be left with blood on its hands if it doesn't make a stand on this. One here, I just Googled Willie Rioli, as I have no idea who he is. This is from Jane with a Y. I do think that because of the racial aspect to this, that's the reason that he got off. It's a bit of positive discrimination, maybe. It shouldn't be about that. It's just appalling behaviour to threaten somebody like that and not get penalised, not even get a slap on the wrist. And Peter in Greenwith says, if Willie Rioli's comments were made in a domestic situation, he'd be getting locked up for using a carrier service to make criminal threats. The AFL are a disgrace in the way that they have their own conclave where they decide who gets punished and who does not. The texts just go on and on and on. There's not a single person out there who thinks that this situation is being handled well.
It's time to go around the courts with Sean Fuster on 5AA Breakfast.
Right on 20 minutes to 8. First and foremost, Sean Fuster, great to have you back. Good morning.
Guys, good morning. Thank you so much for having me back. It's been a real pleasure to have a really nice break, but it's an even bigger pleasure to be back with you and all of our listeners.
Yeah, it's good to have you, and it's nice to have you back with a bit of a mystery case, the case of the disappearing shack.
It's been a while, this one. You boys might remember that the Advertiser broke this story a little while ago. We're talking about this salmon shack built on $1 million view on the FIVEAA Peninsula's Hyson Trail, overlooking the cliffs there, just, this spectacular, magnificent view. Shack's been there since 1934. There's a family who say that they've been operating it, living in, out of it, using it as a holiday home, Barry Robertson and his family, since about 1964. A couple of years ago, the shed's just gone, out of nowhere, demolished, vanished. Very strange set of circumstances, and obviously Mr. Robertson and his family very upset about this. The government got involved, investigators got involved, and a man was arrested, a man by the name of George Lavrentiadis, who denied all wrongdoing, despite the fact that according to police and photos that were supplied by to the Advertiser, there were photos of Mr. Lavrentiadis going in and out of the shack as it was in various stages of disrepair and demolition, and tool kits and all sorts of things everywhere. Now, out of the blue, Mr. Lavrentiadis, who was supposed to stand trial this week, has suddenly pleaded guilty, which means that next week, I believe it is, we're finally going to get some answers as to what this was all about and what the heck is going on.
So what's the theory, Sean, or are your hands tied as to preventing you from speculating?
What I can tell you is this. There's been a lot of people who have claimed that there's all sorts of shenanigans going on because of where the shack was located. The shack is one of these things that was located on Crown land. And some of the listeners may know that that's been a thorny issue for the state government for a very long time, because during the Great Depression, a lot of people put up these little temporary buildings all over the state. They're still there. Some of them are considered heritage. Some of them are not considered heritage. Some of them are on some pretty incredible parcels of land. As we say, this was overlooking, the view you would want from the FIVEAA Peninsula. And there was some ruction prior to the destruction of the shed between Mr. Robertson and a US-based South Australian-born realtor called Julian Galbraith Johnston. Now, Mr. Johnston was building a really specky place just next door. Of course, suspicion turned to Mr. Johnston, who quite rightly denied any wrongdoing. He's never been charged with an offence. He's never even been so much as accused of an offence. But a lot of people said, big realtor's moving in, wants to put up a big specky house. He's obviously just knocked the salmon shed down. Mr. Johnston's made very clear that's not what's happened. He's not involved in any way, shape or form. But we still don't know any compelling alternate theory. So unfortunately, rumour and gossip continues to go around. This was the sort of thing we weren't going to get answers for a very long time because it was going to go to trial. So I'm fascinated to know why, out of nowhere, Mr. Lavrentiadis has pleaded guilty and what the case put to the judge is going to be.
Do we know whether is the guilty plea to the initial charges?
Yes, he did.
So there has been no negotiation on, a lesser charge. We don't do a lot of property damage. What kind of sanctions are we talking about for something like that?
Well, we're looking here at a maximum of 10 years, depending on the sorts of property that's been damaged. But as we've been talking about on Just Lawful just recently, that sort of property damage whack is usually reserved for things like arson and setting a bushfire. That's when you're looking at sort of the upper end of 10 years. I don't know whether knocking down a salmon shed, regardless of the size of its view and the picturesque nature of its location, would get you all the way up to 10 years. But just because they've not negotiated the charges down doesn't mean in closed court hearings there hasn't been negotiation on the basis of the plea. And that's something we don't talk about very often with what Daniel likes to call non-binary charge bartering, or whatever phrase he's invented for charge determination and plea bargaining. Sometimes you can actually barter down the circumstances of the offence rather than the charges themselves.
Okay, so that goes to what the court's accepted version of events.
That's right, yeah. And if you think sort of on a macro scale, we can talk about things like the Nima case many years ago, where the nature of that shooting was tidied up to being a certain set of events and a certain set of agreed facts. So sometimes that happens too, and that could well be the case here because it happened in a closed court. We just don't know. Sorry, not a closed court. Someone will get upset with me for that. A court that's not open to the public.
What's the distinction between a closed court and one that's not open to the public?
Oh, apparently, functionally, but, words have a meaning, of course, Will.
Certainly in your line of work. Oh, gee,
one way to go about it.
That's definitely a sacrament that you're not expecting when you go up to the pulpit, but nonetheless, that's what he decided to do, and the consequences were far-reaching, not only in terms of the criminal...
Chief Court Reporter of The Advertiser, the host of Just Lawful, and, of course, regular guest here on 5AA Breakfast with Around the Courts. Let's check traffic and come back with more. In fact, you know what we're going to do? Let's audible. Should we give away some showdown tickets?
Yes. Yeah. Should
we do that?
Let's get back to the things we really like about football, the actual game.
Here's what I would recommend. If you have someone in your family with a sort of Rain Man-esque recollection of showdown numbers, get them to call in right now on 8223 because it does help. Otherwise, it's good to be lucky. We play a grab, you tell us which showdown it's from. It's amazing the quality of the guessing that's gone into this thus far, but if you've got someone who knows, get them to call in right now, 8223 Two showdown tickets can be given away right after this. Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today, expertly crafted by a trained barista, just the way you like it.
G'day there at Darlington, a burst water main South Road near Brookside Road. That's just near Macca's and that really big storage king they're building. Works at Fulham to look out for, Hindley Beach Road near Tapley's Hill Road, and a bit sluggish for Woodville Road near Russell Terrace. Early morning cameras, Education Road, Happy Valley, and Hillier Road at Ronaldo this morning. Office Works have great tech, craft and personalised gifts for Mum this Mother's Day, so you can say, thanks Mum. Shop in-store, online or via the Office Works app today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Here's something to think about. Over 80% of NRG Solar customers add a battery, simply because it just makes perfect sense. With solar and battery storage, it's like having 24 hours of sun powering your home even when the sun's down. More savings, more independence, and no more bill shock. Make the smart switch. Talk to the NRG Solar team today. Call 1300 858 160. Write that number down, 1300 858 160.
Samtest Seafoods, they're your household ally. If you're Julie from Blakeview, they're the people who put a smile on your face when you're recovering from a bad weekend. They help you eat with wonderful local seafood every week. Right now, pick up super fresh local garfish fillets, just $39.99 a kilo.
And if you're hosting a Mother's Day lunch, make it unforgettable. They've got South Australian crayfish, cooked jumbo king prawns, and freshly opened oysters ready to impress.
Lucky mum. And if she's really hungry, how about the 4 kilo for $60 deal? Mix and match from over 20 premium options, including flathead, dory, barramundi, red emperor, salt and pepper squid, Atlantic salmon, oven-ready battered whiting, and plenty more. 4 kilos, just $60.
And how's this for 5AA listener exclusives? Showdown special. Any sweet chili or Cajun Atlantic salmon kebab, you get it for just $5. 1 is perfect with a salad. 2 if you're really hungry. It's only until Sunday, and this one's only for 5AA listeners.
Samtas Seafoods, 201 Richmond Road, Richmond. We'll see you there. Factory direct prices open 7 days. For the best seafood, the biggest variety and value, it's always Samtas.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We're finding Adelaide is attracting people not only for its events and festivals, but for the long term, whether they're investing or making the move here. Last year, a significant number of our buyers came from interstate or overseas, making this an ideal time to showcase your home to a wider audience. At Toop and Toop, we have proven strategies to connect your property with the right buyers and ensure no opportunity is missed. Visit toop.com.au. Toop and Toop, Adelaide's trusted real estate advisors.
Oh, geez, it's hot in here. Can someone pass the Morford air? Oh, that's better.
When the temperature is too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air, Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company. Morford Air has kept South Australians perfectly comfortable for over 50 years. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, you can always reach for the Morford Air. Look for the bright blue building at 602 Marion Road or visit morfordair.com.au.
Morford. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes to 8. Let's give away some showdown tickets, shall we? We have been giving them away all this week, and the formula is simple. The answer is hard to discern. We play a little audio grab from a showdown of yesteryear, and you tell us which number showdown that is. So 57 this week. I think 45 we gave away the other day.
45. We had 30. Was it 32?
32.
For the Montfrey's goal.
Hey, you know what I think is a great thing? We had it on 7 last night. Graham Corns, Bruce Abernathy and some others are going back and rewatching all the early showdowns to give away the showdown medals from before there were showdown medals.
Oh, what a great idea.
It's a brilliant idea. I love it. So they've revealed a bit of their...
So when did the showdown medal start?
It was about Lucy said it was after the 6th showdown.
Okay.
So there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them that haven't been given away yet. In fact, here is Cornsey and Abbott talking about rewatching those games.
What I really enjoyed was the style of football. It was attractive, open, fast. It was a totally different game to what they're playing at the moment. A better game.
A better game.
A better game.
You have to say that because you're coaching that period. What, 28 all?
I'd been sacked by then. Showdown one was hard because it was very even. Probably a Port Adelaide player gets my votes in that game.
You gave a Port Adelaide player votes.
Yeah,
I love the high-flying full forward, and there was only one called Tony Modra, and if he kicked 7 goals out of 11 in the first game, I reckon in my world he gets some votes.
So we'll find out who wins the original showdown medals. I love that concept. I think it's terrific. We'll find out this weekend, obviously, because it's now a big part of the day. It'll be announced on the field afterwards. If you want to get along, call 8223 0055.
What they should do, when they award all the showdown medals for the first 6, they should get them out at the next showdown. So they probably wouldn't have time to do it for Saturday because they won't have done them all. So later in the year, they should get them all out before the game and present the medals.
How good would that be?
Be excellent.
I think it's a terrific initiative. All right, so have a listen to this. Here is some audio from, I almost said which showdown it was from. That would have defeated the purpose, wouldn't it? For a showdown of yesteryear, if you can tell us which number it's from, you will get along. Have a listen.
Burgoyne was kicked and then the Port Adelaide big hit from Brogan to the Crows. Brogan's got Jericho down. Gee, that's a big hip and shoulder. Jericho hasn't moved. It's on in the middle. Traders have gone down.
Dean Brogan poleaxing Luke Jericho, former Emmanuel College boy Luke Jericho. Scott and Brighton, what showdown was that from?
Oh, it's pretty hard. 28.
It's not 28. Let's go to Michael in Aberfoyle Park. Which one do you think it's from, Michael?
Number 20.
It's not 20. Jimmy in Salisbury, good morning.
43.
Not 43. I'll tell you what, it's between Jimmy and Michael. That doesn't help you much. Jake in O'Halloran Hill, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good
thanks, mate.
24.
Is that a guess or do you know?
Just a guess.
It's a good guess, Jake.
Excellent.
2008 showdown 24.
Burgoyne was kicked and then the Port Adelaide big hit from Brogan to the Crows. Brogan's got Jericho down. Gee, that's a big hip and shoulder. Jericho hasn't moved. It's on in the middle. Traders have gone down.
So congratulations to you, Jake. You're getting along to the showdown. Were you there on that day?
No, I've been to quite a few, but my partner hasn't been to a showdown yet, so I'll be taking her.
Oh, cool, mate. You're Port of the Crows.
Definitely the Crows.
Good on you, Jake. Have a good night, mate.
Thanks a lot, guys. Much appreciated.
No,
Not at all, mate.
Well done you. That was magnificent work. Good guessing. Showdown 24.
2008, you said.
2008.
That's a bit of a wasted period for the Adelaide Football Club, wasn't it? That whole era. Those two West Coast prelims. I reckon if they won either of them, they would have beaten the Swans.
I hate that. I hate talking about that period because that was the best Crows team there's ever been, and they didn't win a Premier. They didn't even make a grand final. If you look at that, that is the 97 and 98 teams all grown up because the backbone of those teams were all early 20s. They were grown, mature men. They were stars of the comp. Anyway, let's not talk about it because I'll get angry. Let's check in with Jade Robert, who's...
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. Not yet, anyway.
I've seen it.
Jade Robert's out on the road. No, it's not my wife.
Good morning.
My wife laughs at me when I say I'm angry. She's like, there's nothing more pathetic than you being angry.
I don't think I've ever seen you angry.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like I rage. And then people say, you've never been angry. And I think...
You've seen me angry a couple of times.
Once or twice. You do it better than me. Hey, what's going on out there, Jade?
Good morning, guys. I'm trying to picture an angry Will, and you're right. You're just this big cuddly bear. You're too nice to get angry. I'm just thinking about that showdown. That was a broken sternum. He is. Hey, it's Mother's Day this Sunday, guys. The person who gave life to you, so spoil her rotten, or should you? I've got some stats here from Aussie Mums that says 49% of mums aren't happy with their presents and fake a smile of appreciation. 8223 0000 mums, call in if you've been given a gift and you've opened it and you're like, oh, little Johnny, that's beautiful. Oh, can I return that? Why they haven't loved it so much, and look, fair enough, is because they've been given cleaning products, weight loss products, or second-hand items. So I say fair enough if you're not overly happy. I wouldn't be either. But 1 in 3 mums have admitted to actually re-gifting their presents from their little darlings. 59% of mums say the perfect gift doesn't always come in wrapping paper. Often it's a heartfelt thank you or a thoughtful gesture. So, you little buggers, go and unpack the dishwasher once or twice. That would be really, really helpful. When it comes to giving a physical gift, though, traditional favourites still hold strong. So we love our flowers, chocolates and gift vouchers. They're topping the list this year. But what most mums really, really want is actually a weekend away from you all. Now, I know that's extravagant and we can only wish for it, but as much as we love you, we also really like our own time, which is why sometimes you find us hiding in the pantry, locking it so you can't find us. But the tradition in our house, I always get a pair of PJs and, of course, lots of cuddles, so I do love that. But ANZ, they're predicting its customers alone are going to spend $569 million this weekend. So that's on food, clothing, beauty and jewellery across the weekend. But my school parents app is absolutely pinging crazy this morning because it's the Mother's Day stall. And Will, you've got this to look forward to. But Dave, how good are the I Love You Mum key rings that break after a week, the aprons or the tea towels, and those smelly candles that give you a migraine? But their little faces when they give you those presents are just priceless. Happy Mother's Day to all those mums out there.
I love all that school craft. I've got a thing on my desk that my son Jim made for me when he was in like grade 1, and it's this weird picture. I don't know what the school was thinking. It's a picture of a saw, like a timber saw, and it says, "You are the best dad I ever saw." I was just like, yeah, great. But for some reason, I stuck it on the wall, and I love it. But Jade's right about all the, random stuff that gets done. You'll have that. And how old's Rosie now? Will
2.5.
So in a couple of years' time, when she's at primary school, you'll
start bringing home the arts and crafts. Hey, thank you for that, Jade. That was excellent. Just to read out our chat about the showdown medals, Tim was clearly watching the story on 7 closer than I was last night. Thank you for the text, Tim. He says they're presenting 3 this weekend and 3 the next showdown later in the year.
Which is great.
Which is terrific. 5AA News is coming up, breaking at 8, not too far away. David Kosh is going to join us as well after 8.
Hi, Daniel Tarley here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. Sometimes renovating an older home built before the 90s is just not worth the hassle, time or the cost. Instead, we buy your home as it is and give you as much time as you need to find your new dream home. We don't charge fees, there's no advertising costs or commissions. We just make the process of selling your home easy. Look out for a letter from us in your mailbox or visit home.com.au. That's haume.com.au.
Make your next business or social event unforgettable at the newly upgraded Spheris. Have your next meeting, private or corporate functions in one of 5 unique spaces, featuring natural light, parkland views and in-house AV for a seamless experience. Choose from the chic Paradiso Bar, modern studio or grand marquee and starlight rooms, whether for 30 or 350 guests. We tailor every detail to your needs and budget. And enjoy complimentary parking and luxury spa accommodation. Find out more at spheris.com.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers easing 21 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
The state's road toll has climbed to 29 for the year, with a young woman dying after she was struck by a car at Hillcrest in a hit-run crash last night. The accident occurred at 11 p.m. on North East Road. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says police are looking for a silver sedan and for witnesses leading up to the crash.
We're also seeking dash cam footage of the woman's presence on the roadway before the fatal crash. It's understood that she did spend some time on the road before she was actually struck. So we're keen to piece together sort of her last movement. So anyone with any dash cam or saw the woman as they were travelling through the Hillcrest area last night is urged to contact police.
Meantime, a 17-year-old boy fighting for his life after a single vehicle crash at Kangaroo Flat near Roseworthy at 7:15 p.m. The boy airlifted to hospital in a critical condition. National Senator Matt Canavan has raised questions about the future of the coalition after a disastrous election result. The finger-pointing's begun within the Liberal Party in the wash-up of Saturday's polls. Senator Canavan telling Today the Nationals shouldn't leave it to the Liberals to deliver results.
I think we should do what we think is best for the country, and I do think that's the Nationals Party as a success, as the success we've had over many years. We should have a louder voice. We shouldn't feel like we have to muzzle ourselves, which I think we did a bit in the last term.
Australians whose lives have been cut short by violent perpetrators have been remembered today. Candlelight vigils will be held across the country to mark National Domestic Violence Remembrance Day. Minister for the Prevention of Domestic Violence, Jodie Harrison, says it's important to honour those who are left behind.
We think about their families who are still grieving and mourning their loss. We think about the futures of those people that have been taken away. And we also think about the people who are still living with domestic and family violence.
Meantime, former state Liberal, now independent MP Nick McBride will face court today, charged with allegedly assaulting his wife. Laughing gas is making a dramatic difference for people with severe depression. A Monash Uni study finding nitrous oxide may have more uses in medicine beyond being an anaesthetic. Professor Paul Miles from Alfred Health says just after 4 sessions, patients experience positive effects in reducing long-term drug-resistant depression.
1 hour treatments, 1 week intervals over a period of 4 weeks. But in fact, people, not all of course, but many had a nice or marked improvement in their debilitating symptoms of depression, lasting for weeks and weeks afterwards.
It's just hours away from the start of the conclave, which will determine a new pope for the Catholic Church. Nine's Hannah Sinclair at the Vatican.
The cardinals are now able to all move into their new living quarters for the conclave. All cardinal electors are now here in Rome from all over the world, and they have been assigned rooms in the Vatican, walking distance to the Sistine Chapel, which has been turned into a secure bunker. Residents and employees in the Vatican have been told all mobile phone signals will be deactivated just before the conclave starts, and they will not be restored until we have a new pope.
The state's premier festival for kids kicks off today. The Dream Big Children's Festival, formerly Come Out, starts with a giant parade. Festival director Georgie Page says it'll run until May 17.
We've got an amazing free event for families called Big Family Weekend at the Adelaide Festival Centre this weekend, with heaps of drop-in activities to explore over the weekend.
In overseas news, India has launched retaliatory missile strikes on what it calls terror targets in Pakistan and Kashmir. President Trump has met with his Canadian counterpart Mark Carney and told him never say never over his plans to annex Canada as the 51st US state. And legendary singer Smokey Robinson facing a class action from former employees, accusing him of sexual battery and false imprisonment. Turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
And with sport, Tom Wren.
Thank you, Maddie. Adelaide's players will train later this morning as the build-up continues ahead of Showdown 57 on Saturday night. The Power will train this evening at Alberton. Much of the discussion has centred around the AFL's handling of Willie Rioli in the wake of the match against the Bulldogs on Saturday night. Well, Australian Formula One driver Oscar Piastri is flying high this season, becoming just the second Aussie to win 3 straight races. The McLaren driver leads teammate Lando Norris by 16 points in the Drivers' Championship. Piastri has told Nine's Today Show he's doing his best to stay composed each week.
I mean, I try to just stay calm. That's probably the biggest thing, and every driver's different, you know. I think some people like to be or need to be revved up.
Lockie Niendorf is aiming to claim back-to-back Group 1s when he rides Stretton Angel. That's in the $1 million Group 1 Goodwood on Saturday at Morphettville. Niendorf has drawn barrier 1 for the race with Giga Kick, the hot favourite. And even though the horse hasn't won for 2 years, Niendorf is confident a big result is possible.
The form's there and around it for her to come out and produce, and it wouldn't be a shock to anyone, I think, to see her come out and win. She's just been a little bit unlucky at times, and she is a quirky mare and needs things to go her way. But if they do, watch out.
Briefly elsewhere, Inter Milan is the first side through to the Champions League final following a dramatic 4-3 win in extra time against Barcelona. The NBA playoffs continue this morning with the Indiana Pacers taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers, while the Golden State Warriors will come up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Aussie Kim Birrell has lost her opening round match at the Italian Open after losing in 3 sets to Sonia Cartel. And that's the 5AA Sport.
5AA's traffic.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Morning there, Darlington. Got a burst water main this morning, Main South Road near Brookside Road, just near McDonald's and where they're building that really big storage king. Works at Fulham continuing, Henley Beach Road near Tapley's Hill Road, and we are slow at the moment at Northgate for works, Foster's Road near Brookside Street. Cameras Hillier Road, Ranella, and Rosedale Road at Rosedale. IGA's catalogue specials are in store now, like Mighty Soft Cafe Style Raisin Toast 600 gram, $3.95, half price at selected IGA stores till Tuesday, while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing today, 21. Cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days from Friday, 21. The weekend up to 24. Currently at 17. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock-solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price.
New car? Holiday? Why not both? At Edwardstown Mazda's biggest ever end of financial year sale, you'll drive away with up to $10,000 in savings and go into the draw to win the ultimate New Zealand getaway. Flights, accommodation, wine tour and more. All sorted. Don't choose between a car, a holiday or great savings. Get all three. Only at Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
It's gotta be.
T's and C's apply.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes after 8, breaking 8 in just a moment. David Koch is coming up. As you've heard in 5AA News, there have been some developments with regard to Willie Rioli. The AFL now investigating the accusation that there are multiple instances of threats of violence. They say the AFL that they've been blindsided by these revelations, so they're reopening the case, so to speak.
That's massive.
We'll get Koshy's thoughts in just a moment. The other thing we're going to do is...
I think, I'm not trying to be a troublemaker, but I think it's increasingly looking like he's probably not going to play on the weekend.
I would have thought.
And it might be because the AFL are clearly briefing Melbourne journos. This is one of the footy reporters there, Sam Edmund. This is what he's written on Twitter. A livid AFL will today re-examine the behaviour of Willie Rioli with a sanction yet possible for the port forward. The league is furious over media revelations that Rioli has threatened players in games against Geelong and Essendon. So that tweet, the league is furious. You write that tweet because someone in the AFL's media unit has rung you and said, look, we didn't know, we're spewing, we're opening it again. So the AFL, they feel embarrassed now that all this new information has come to light, and the AFL know tactically that they need to go harder on this. Then
they're not saying we're spewing because their preliminary thought is we'll probably find him innocent.
No.
Are they?
No.
Like, that's
exactly.
the reading into the language.
That's the briefing. That's the off the record, mate. Blah blah blah. Then the other part of it too is, and this is what we'll ask Koshy about. There's also like Port have the sort of duty of care to him as a player and as a human being, where they have to factor in the stress that he's under, all of the public commentary, the impact that every single text, tweet, every bit of commentary around it. And I think Port might say in that sort of, duty of care way, look, maybe what you need is just a couple of weeks off.
Well, we'll find out. Koshy coming up very shortly. And then after 8:30 today, we're going to head down to the southeast. Nick McBride is in court on assault charges. We'll get the latest from Deanna Williams from 7 News, who's covering that story. Let's go breaking at 8.
Well, they call it taking out the trash. We say that with a degree of levity, but after a devastating election result, any political party has to revisit the platform that it took to the people. And the trickle-down effect from Saturday night at the federal level for the Liberal Party is that now the state Liberals are making some tough but firm decisions about what they stand for. Two major policies that in the view of Liberals now, clearly did the Dutton campaign a lot of damage. Nuclear power, the plan to roll out nuclear power stations across Australia, and also work from home. Both of those policies have now been formally killed off by the South Australian Liberals. We have the opposition leader, Vincent Tarzia, on the phone now. Mr Tarzia, good morning, and thanks for joining us for Breaking It 8. When we spoke to you the other day, you sort of alluded to the nuclear stuff and said you were going to have a bit of a rethink about that now. But as of yesterday, both nukes and any changes to work from home sound like they're off the agenda.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Will. In relation to working from home, I think if we're completely honest, that the campaign never really recovered after that announcement. I think there was a bit of a perception of double standards, that some were being asked to work from home and others weren't. I think also seemed to be a bit of a resistance to modern work trends, like both you. I'm a father. I'm a young dad. I've got another child on the way with my wife in July, and there's a lot of families out there that work from home or have some flexibility, and I think it was just a policy that was badly delivered, and it just made it look like they were out of touch with modern families, quite frankly. So, yeah, we won't be touching that. In terms of the nuclear debate, we were very clear that there was clearly going to be two energy paths that South Australia goes down after the federal election. If the federal coalition won, there would be one path. That didn't happen. So our focus will be on, some form of gas policy that underpins the energy mix, and then of course with renewables, we've already got our policy in relation to the home battery scheme. So it's interesting that federal Labor think the home battery incentive scheme is a good idea. We think it's a good idea. State Labor think it's a bad idea. But we are respecting the will of the people. The people of South Australia don't want to be told that they got it wrong. We are listening to the people of South Australia, and you call it taking the trash. I call it listening to the electorate.
Has this? There have been criticisms and I'm not trying to rev them up or explore them now, but some people have said, well, where are the policies coming from at the state level? Are you guys now freed up a bit to have more of a lash? Because it felt to me, where you had there was the delay over your position on hydrogen and so on, it felt like out of politeness or out of tactics or whatever, you were waiting to see what happened federally on Saturday before you sort of showed your hand. Does that mean that we are actually going to see a bit of a flurry of policy activity now that clearly there's not going to be a Dutton government? Does that free you up to get out there and get on the front foot more?
Yeah, look, it does. And look, policy development's got to be rigorous. So look at what our state opponents have come up with in terms of hydrogen. I mean, that was released. They've spent over $100 million. They paid a CEO, over $600,000. Now they've scrapped that policy. That's poorly thought out. It hasn't delivered any, energy bill reduction to South Australians. So when we put forward a policy, it's got to be rigorous, it's got to be pressure tested, and it's got to be in the best interest of South Australians. Now we've already put out, I think, over 30, but we absolutely will be putting out more, very shortly. We've got a budget in June. There'll be a budget reply, and there'll certainly be a clear difference come March 2026.
Vince, you mentioned previously some sort of a gas policy in the future. Would that be with regard to something like exploration? Is it about reserves? Is it about subsidies? What kind of approach are you taking to gas as part of the energy mix?
Yeah, I mean, we'll certainly have more to say about that, in the lead up to the election with plenty of time. But it's quite clear that the nuclear power option has now been ruled out. So we won't be going down that path, and gas is going to play a much bigger role in our energy policy.
Vincent Tarsi, Leader of the Opposition, thanks for joining us this morning for Breaking at 8.
Thank you.
How dumb are we as a country, though? We're going to be the only country in the world that has a formal contract with the world's largest superpower to have nuclear-powered submarines, with the contract stipulating that we also have to take the high-grade nuclear waste from those submarines and dispose of it for millennia, and we're not allowed to have a nuclear power industry. The guy I'd love to talk to about this, and I think he's just beyond caring, because he knows that he's smashing his head against a brick wall. Kevin Scarce. You do all that great, sensible, solid work. You go to Fukushima, you talk to the people at Chernobyl, you look at all the downsides, you look at all the plus sides, you do a great body of work, and just because of the nervousness and sort of paranoia that fuels party politics in this country, good ideas die. South Australia would have no debt if we had actually grabbed that. We had Steve Mulligan in here yesterday bemoaning the fact that Western Australia makes so much money out of mining royalties and so on, and they get all the extra GST. Would be the engine room of the nation's economy.
Well, yeah, and
we could build the Women's and Children's Hospital by next Tuesday.
Neither side of politics has had the guts to go down the path, but
the only person who's come close is Malley.
Well, but he hasn't done it. Close isn't doing it.
And he's not going to do it now.
But that you're right. The nuclear fuel, like every concern you have right now about hospital capacity, every concern you have about how much money's being put into education, hell, aged care, we could just take it over as a state. Like tens of billions of dollars each year just for having a facility sitting out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well, there's no people.
But it gives people the ick, as the kids say. And,
what's the ick?
The ick, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Something, a bit gross. Look, Lucy just did it. That's the ick. Yeah.
The ick. Not familiar with the ick.
Yeah, a bit of a shudder. That's the basis on which we've foregone that those rivers of gold.
The only new kid term I've got is skibbity toilet. You familiar with that one?
What does that mean?
Skibbity toilet. I don't know, but we say it all the time at home now.
You know what I heard yesterday? Okay.
There's a lot of that and a lot of chicken jockey going on at your place as well.
I bet.
Chicken jockey.
I've heard there's a bit of chicken jockey going on at your place. Hey,
what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm just trying out these new words to see how they feel.
Vaguely erotic.
Is that right? Jeez, I've missed the meaning of the Minecraft movie then. Hey, it's looking a bit grim outside at the moment, and hopefully that means there's more rain on the way. Here's Daniel Sherwin-Simpson for the Weather Bureau about an hour and a half ago.
Well, in the city gauge down at West Terrace, we've seen 2.2 millimetres so far. A little bit higher up in the hills, they've seen some parts sort of getting in the sort of 4 to 8 millimetres generally.
Wow.
Mount Lofty's the highest up with 9 millimetres. And there might be a little bit more on the way. We're sort of seeing some stuff on the radar out over the Gulf at the moment. That could be maybe, an hour or two away, but we're not looking at anything sort of significant. So might be worth bringing an umbrella if you're walking into work this morning, just in case.
So hopefully we get a little bit more on the way today. 1 to 3 mils forecast, but as Daniel said, we've had already a fair bit of that, which is nice to hear, that, especially up in the hills and surrounds. A little bit of rain in Adelaide, just for something different, and what has been our driest start to a year ever. And it's starting to get, we're beyond the feasible point of talking about as the start to the year. We're the 7th of May. This is almost the driest first half of a year that we've ever had. Let's take a break. David Kosh is not too far away. We'll check traffic first, though. Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today, expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like it.
Thanks, Will. Just come in. A smash at Crafers West. It's on the freeway near the tunnels, seeing delays inbound. At Darlington, a burst Watermain Main South Road near Brookside Road near Macca's and the big Storage King they're building at the moment. We are slow for works at Croydon at the moment. Port Road near Queen Street, quite busy. Marion Road at the Anzac Highway intersection with cameras 7th Street, Gawler South and Old South Road at Old Ranella. The Harris Scarf massive sale is on now. Save 50% off flannelette quilt cover sets and sheets. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Willie Rioli sent a threatening message on social media about Bulldog Baileydale. There was no sanction, no fine, nothing to look at here. I don't reckon the public's happy with that, Timmy.
Well, I think it's more so the inconsistency of AFL sanctions. There is no structure.
The 5AA Sports Show.
It's a fairly serious crime, isn't it?
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Your baby's mind is growing even before they arrive. The more you talk and sing and play, the more their mind will thrive. Gotta talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby, make out you're a lion. Talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby. Your words will grow their mind. Every time you interact with your child, you're helping grow their mind. For more information, visit wordsgrowminds.org.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Why rent your power when you can own it? It's a serious question. Why rent your power when you can own it? NRG Solar and Battery Storage gives you control, protecting you from energy prices and unexpected bills. Remember, every dollar you invest today moves you closer to long-term savings and comfort without the bill shock. Take more control of your energy and savings today. Jump online and visit nrgsolar.com.au or call 1300 858 160.
Is it the best Beechwood home ever made? Possibly, but there's always more to come from Beechwood. Introducing the Caliente, nearing completion and open soon for viewing at Craigburn Farm. The Caliente is a multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style with unmatched street appeal. Inspired by Palm Springs and California, this incredible home is definitely a conversation starter, and the team at Beechwood Homes cannot wait for you to see it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
And they could never tear us apart.
David Kosh on 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after, right? This is always a big one. Compare the Market Economic Director, Port Adelaide Football Club Supremo, and our regular guest, David Koch, in Showdown Week. Koshy, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. I'm getting nervous already. Can't sleep.
Well,
restless nights.
So are we. So are we, because form counts for nothing. What happened the previous weekend, as you well know, mate.
I know. Time and time again. And that's why it is just so good. It's stressful. It's nerve-wracking. Your blood pressure goes up. Your heart races. But it's just a great showcase of football in South Australia. Twice a year. And don't we love it? So we should be really proud of both clubs and the standard of football in South Australia and the history of football in South Australia. And that's what it reflects.
100%. Well, mate, look, no surprises. We're going to jump straight into the Willie Rioli situation. Yep. We understand, too, you're in a difficult position here because you got his care, his well-being to think about, but equally, Port, we've been saying for several days, the Hinkley fine for the aeroplane stuff, like the argument about the inconsistency, there's all of that. But the newsiness of it, can we just ask, have you had any official confirmation from the AFL that they are going to reopen this in light of the new allegations that have emerged?
No. And what the AFL does with this sort of thing, and we've talked about, there's Hinkley, there's been other player sanctions in the past, that's up to them to decide. And we don't get involved in it, but whether we agree with it or not, we just cop it and go with it. Suffice to say, on the Willie situation on the weekend, we're incredibly angry about the situation, and Willie knows that. And what's said on the field is one thing. What's done off the field, and particularly on social media, and a private message to another player who he thought would stay private but then was passed on, it gets very complicated. We've talked pretty sternly to Willie about it and said it's just not on.
But is there a scenario, David, whereby, regardless of what the AFL does or doesn't do vis-a-vis a suspension or anything like that, is there a scenario whereby Port, as a club, says to him, actually, you're not playing this weekend?
No, because I think you've got to look at the bigger picture as well. And this is what we deal with within the club that most people don't understand. And it's not Willie, just Willie. It's Indigenous players across every club, and we have the highest representation of Indigenous players of any club, and have always had that. So it's a really important part of our DNA as a club, both on field and in the community. Our work in our Indigenous programs in the community is to support these players and these staff as well. You have absolutely no idea of what they go through, both on field. On field's one thing, but off field as well. The threats that we receive as a club against our Indigenous players would just horrify you. And we see a responsibility to protect them in that situation as well. On field, and this is their workplace, like some of the things said on field, and like on field in the heat of the battle is one thing. Off field and on social media is totally different. And that's why we're really angry with Willie and what he did. And there's absolutely no excusing that, and don't get me wrong on it. But we've got a duty of support to support the players and sort of turn a bit of attention on what society is doing to to these players.
Just on that distinction between what gets said off-field and on-field, Koshy, because it sounds like the AFL have reopened this investigation on the basis of 2 incidents, 2 allegations, one against a Geelong player, one against a Bombers player. These things happen on the field, though. It sounds like, based on the distinction that you're making there, that you don't think that those incidents warrant a further look.
Well, if they are, then you open up a whole can of worms about what anyone says to anybody on field. And like, if what's said on field is said in the offices of 5AA or any other workplace, you'd be sacked. You'd be marched out the door. But it's accepted that those things are said in the heat of the battle. And that's, if you're going to start examining every comment, and sort of not only against Indigenous players but other players as well, then I'm not sure where that will end up.
But Dave, is there a point?
Because that happens constantly. But
isn't there a point where the race issues? I get what you're saying about. Willie's had some shocking stuff done to him and against him, but isn't there a point at which the behaviour can be so demonstrably bad that all the race issues have to get shunted to one side because someone has been doing something terrible, i.e. threatening to bash multiple players?
Right. But it's a build-up of pressure and abuse that they've received, and every individual handles that very differently. And that's what we've got to take into account. On field, those comments that you mentioned then, they pale compared to comments from that are spoken about on field and sledged on field through every game within the league. You can't just isolate a couple of comments from a particular player. Otherwise, you then start to open it up to, or you should start to open it up for comments across every player, and it would be never ending at that stage. You'd either have to crack down on every comment and say, okay, there's no sledging, there's no getting inside people's heads, there's no sexual references, there's no racial comments, all that sort of thing, and you just ban it altogether. You just can't highlight one player because it's right across the playing group. Now, that's accepted in football, and that's why I'm saying I'm making absolutely no excuse for Willie's private message after the game. We're incredibly angry with it. We've spoken to Willie about it. He's contrite and has sent a message to the player involved. But you can't mix on-field and off-field comments, otherwise it will lead to places where people don't want to go.
Yeah, well, I think, Koshy, we said before you came on, this is a hellishly awkward situation for your club.
It is.
We appreciate you being so candid about it.
And we've all got to look at the abuse on-field and off-field that Indigenous players right across the game are still copping at the moment. As I said, we try and shield our players as much as possible.
Yeah.
But the abuse, you just shake your head.
Well, mate, good luck for Saturday. We'll chat again next week. David Koch, Compare the Market Economic Director and Port Adelaide Football Club Chairman.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Showers ceasing 21 with the 8:30 news. Good morning, I'm Matthew Pantelis.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
After dumping support for nuclear power on Monday in the wake of the big federal Liberal loss, the state Liberals have also ditched plans to end work from home for the state's public servants. Opposition leader Vincent Tarzia telling Breaking at 8 they're moving in line with community expectations.
We are respecting the will of the people. The people of South Australia don't want to be told that they got it wrong. We are listening to the people of South Australia, and you call it taking the trash, I call it listening to the electorate.
Port Adelaide's chairman believes it would be dangerous for the AFL to reopen the Willie Rioli case. It's been alleged he's made threats in the past on field against Essendon and Geelong players. But David Koch has told David and Will to now sanction him in light of those sets a strange precedent.
If you're going to start examining every comment, and not only against Indigenous players but other players as well, then I'm not sure where that will end up.
A young woman has died in a hit-and-run crash at Hillcrest. The 20-year-old struck on North East Road at 11 p.m. Witnesses describing a silver sedan which failed to stop. Police urging the driver to come forward. She's the 29th person to lose her life on the roads. A child has died and several other family members are in a critical condition after a house fire in Brisbane's west. More from Nine's Davina Smith.
It was around 12:30 p.m. when this home has burst into flames. Mum, Dad and 4 children managed to escape, but a 5th child remained unaccounted for. And firefighters risked their lives bursting through the home that was erupting into flames, risking their own lives to try and save that 5th child. Tragically, this morning it has been confirmed that they have passed away. Mum and 2 of the children have been rushed to Brisbane. They are in critical conditions, while Dad and 2 other children are in serious conditions in Toowoomba Hospital. Police have said this morning that a crime scene has been established.
A drum catching fire in a Woodville warehouse kept firefighters busy here last night. Prema Osborne from the MFS says the fire broke out just after 10 p.m.
The MFS firefighters entered the site to identify a large drum on the premises, issuing flames, smoke and gassing. Firefighters worked for over 90 minutes, issuing water and monitoring temperatures to cool the drum down. When extinguishment was achieved, firefighters moved the drum to an isolated area and handed the site back to the owners.
The Prime Minister travelling to Indonesia next week, highlighting his government's foreign policy priorities. Anthony Albanese has held a friendly call with President Prabowo Subianto, requesting a visit. Indonesia traditionally the first stop for first-term Australian Prime Ministers. Canada's PM Mark Carney says he's told Donald Trump to stop referring to the country as America's 51st state. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley reports.
These were high-stakes talks at the White House on trade, but also clearly sovereignty. Mark Carney won Canada's election, largely off the back of Donald Trump's persistent claims the US could adopt its northern neighbour. In the Oval Office, the American president remained firm he wants Canada to be America's 51st state. Canada's Prime Minister pushed back, insisting his country is never going to be for sale. Here's Mark Carney.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Later, the Prime Minister said he told Donald Trump behind closed doors to stop.
Turning to 5AA Sport
Colours,
now.
custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And Tom Wren, one big story around the place today.
Oh, it's bubbling along, isn't it, Matty? And as we heard in your news report just a little bit earlier, the Port chairman, David Koch, has just gone on radio here on 5AA, warning the league against bringing a sanction on Port Adelaide forward Willie Rioli. Now, it comes amid revelations he's made previous threats against Essendon and Geelong players in previous games. At this stage, Rioli is free to play in Saturday night Showdown 57, but the league is understood to be reconsidering its position. Let's get to soccer now. Inter Milan is through to the European Champions League final following a stunning 4-3 win in extra time against Barcelona. They progressed 7-6 on aggregate. Arsenal will take on Paris Saint-Germain in the other semi-final tomorrow morning, our time. To cricket, one game in the IPL overnight. It was the Gujarat Titans beating the Mumbai Indians by 3 wickets. It all came down to the final ball. Scores were level, meaning the Titans needed 1 to win, and they only just did it.
Trouble. Oh, Miss 30 would have been gone. No one able to collect at the stumps. So a nervy chase ends in victory for GT and disappointment for MI.
Audio there thanks to Fox. The result means the Gujarat Titans are now top, while the Mumbai Indians are fourth. And Australian golfer Jason Day has withdrawn from this week's PGA Tour event with a neck injury. He is still hopeful of playing in next week's PGA Championship. And that's the 5AA Sport.
5AA traffic.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
At Crayfus West, a smash on the freeway near the tunnel, seeing delays inbound. Darlington, a burst water main South Road near Brookside Road. Slow for works at Parkside, Fullerton Road near Canberra Road, and getting busy Brighton Road at Glenelg East. Cameras this morning, Candy Road, O'Halloran Hill. Got one setting up right now, Hillier Road at Ranella. Panadol helps relieve everyday pain. Not the pain of your daily commute, but for the migraine headache it gives you. Panadol's got you covered. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Incorrect use could be harmful. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast.
Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today. Expertly crafted by trained baristas, just the way you like.
Showers easing today, 21. Cloud clearing tomorrow and 20. Sunny days from Friday, 21. The weekend up to 24. Currently it's 17. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ready for your next adventure? Austrac campers are built tough for Australia's wild landscapes. From the coast to the outback, you'll experience unmatched quality with every adventure.
Austrac campers.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, Brett Ebbett here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. We've been doing deals on a huge range of 2024 plate Mazdas, and we've just received truckloads more of them, all priced to clear. These drive-away deals on new Mazdas include free 12 months rego, free stamp duty, and accessory packs worth $500. Yep, absolutely free. All exclusive to Mawson Lakes Mazda. No gimmicks, just great deals. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, T's and C's apply.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles' famous once-a-year May Mayhem is the biggest and best ever. Spend $1,000 and we'll only charge you $750. Or spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. That's right, spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. Don't miss the biggest and best National Tiles May Mayhem event of all time. So rush into National Tiles now and save. Conditions apply.
All right, guys, Mother's Day is just around the corner. Think about it. She's the heart of your home, the woman that loves you and the kids unconditionally. This Mother's Day, give her something that says, I appreciate you. A Temple Day Spa gift voucher. It's a pause in her busy life. Purchase a gift voucher online or pop in and see us. And let's make this Mother's Day unforgettable for her. Now open 7 days. Temple Day Spa. Only in Semaphore. Not just a treatment, an experience.
Less pear.
More Pinot.
Less crom.
More canapes.
Less marks.
More marquees.
Less ferals.
More frocks. This Saturday, skip the footy and have a real ball at the Sportsbet Goodwood Day, home to the nation's finest horse racing, May 10.
More
Morfettville.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of impeccable class and style offer a range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality of Armani, Canali, Zegna, and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. Best fit, best brands. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au.
Dreaming of a getaway? Now's the perfect time. With the G'day Parks app, not only do you get access to more parks in more places, but if you book on the app before the 31st of August for travel anytime this year, you'll be entered into the draw to win free fuel for a year. A whole year of free fuel. Book to win and get away on us. G'day Parks, the easy way to get away. Here's good. G'dayParks.com.au.
T's and C's apply. Permit number ACT TP25/00645.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
17 minutes to 9, Jade Robin shortly. Have a look outside in the city at the moment. We just flashed up the iPhone on a stick. You can't see the hills. It's entirely obscured by fog.
It's not so much a stick as an icy pole. And we'll look, it's coming in. Look out there. Eh? What's that?
That's called a fog. That's all it is. There's not an ounce of pollution in that.
I can think of another
That's not a byproduct of anyone burning things in their home.
Can't see the hills.
Not old.
Looks like something you'd make with a
coal-fired power. There's literally
ham hock from.
No, there's no. You notice there's no colour to it. Like no one would look at that and say that is akin to something with colour in it. Like they might say fog generated by pollution.
One thing I will say, on the upside, at least I'm not eating into the microphone.
Gee, we had a huge response to that interview with Koshy before the break.
Yeah, and look, overwhelmingly, people weren't buying Koshy's explanation, which he was trying to argue that there's a whole bunch of other stuff that people aren't aware of, the full extent of the abuse and the pressure that players like Willie Rioli have to face. Well, the consensus on the text line is no. If your behaviour is so bad that it manifests itself in things like this, none of those race issues can be brought to bear because it creates a set of double standards, and other players are being punished more harshly for less in the eyes of listeners. There's one text here that sums all of them up. Yeah, this is it, Jason in Blakeview. Port fan here, Jason writes, Willie Rioli is a role model in the Indigenous community. If we start making excuses for his bad off-field behaviour based on race and upbringing, you give others the green light to act poorly in the community. I think it's very concerning. Yeah, so overwhelmingly, there's a lot more to play out on this.
Well, the AFL are investigating, and they've said they're furious privately and off the record. So we will see what develops over the course of the day. Another thing that's going to develop over the course of the day, big story in state politics, but beyond that, a big story in going through our courts. Deanna Williams is in Narra Court for the trial of Nick McBride on assault charges. He, of course, is the independent member for MacKillop. Dee, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys.
What's going to happen today?
Well, this is his very first appearance on those 3 counts of assault allegedly against his wife, Catherine. This will be his first appearance today, so there's quite a few people in the court at 10 o'clock. That's the time that he's listed to appear. I imagine it will be a very short hearing. First appearances generally are. They will ask for a next date so that both sides can gather evidence and get their cases together. And I imagine it usually is between 6 and 10, maybe sometimes 14 weeks before the next hearing is then scheduled. So I imagine a very short hearing. We're expecting Nick to turn up. His electoral office, we checked it out last night. It's on the same road as the courthouse, probably a few hundred metres away. So I imagine he'll just need to walk to court this morning. There's a bit of a media throng here. All the TV stations, the advertiser as well are here for his first appearance. So it should be a very interesting morning.
We don't know yet, do we, Deanna, whether he's pleading guilty, not guilty, or none of that. There's been no indication at all from Nick McBride about what he's saying in response to these charges.
Anecdotally, we've heard he's saying, I did nothing wrong. That is just the whispers around the place. Generally, at first appearances, you don't get a plea. It's highly unusual to get a plea on a first appearance. So no, but as I said, anecdotally around the traps, he's telling people, I did nothing wrong. So now it's up to the lawyers, the prosecution and his lawyer to play that out in court.
Dee, one of the unique elements of when David Spears was going through court was a series of interviews we did with people in the seat of black at the time, who many of whom were quite defensive of him. Now, obviously, no one wants to prejudge the outcome of a trial, but what's the sense you get from speaking in his big country seat of MacKillop? Are people angry? Are people happy with him continuing as their representative? What's the vibe?
It's curious. This is a little bit different to David Spears' charges. This is very sensitive. This is domestic violence charges, and it's really difficult to sort of go and do like what we do, voxies with people. But it's interesting, a couple of places that we have been to, they've said, what are you here for? And we've said, we're here for the first appearance for the member from McKillop, Nick McBride. Oh, okay, yes, we've heard about that. We've read all about that. So there's a lot of curiosity surrounding that, but it's really difficult to say to people, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, because of the sensitive nature of these charges. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's 3 charges of domestic violence, of assault against his wife. He eventually, when I believe the charges were imminent, he handed himself into the Norwood Police Station. These charges were allegedly occurred at his property, which is about 40 k's out of Kingston, on a huge homestead called Conmurra. I've never heard of that myself, but it is apparently an elegant homestead covering about 4,000 hectares. Nick and his wife happen to be married for 30-odd years. They have 2 children. It's going to be a very, very sensitive court case, I would imagine, as you can imagine, because of the nature of the charges. 3 counts, and we'll wait and see, what happens today when he turns up for his first court appearance.
Well, I guess, too, the other thing, Deanna, is there's such big and well-known public figures down there. I mean, they're absolutely loaded. They'd probably be one of the top 10 richest families in the southeast.
And he's one of them.
Yeah, and his wife has been involved too in the Liberal Party. She ran for pre-selection against Tony Passon, who on Saturday was re-elected as the member for Barker. So they're both extremely well-known people politically, and through their financial success as well. So a huge story down there.
It is a huge story, and he is a very prominent member. He's, as we say, one of Australia's richest men. And what does this mean now for his political career? Does he stand down while these charges play out, while this court case plays out? Does he ride the storm? What are his plans? And they're the sort of questions I think we'll have to throw at him today when he turns up in court. How is he intending to plead to these charges? Is he innocent? What went on that day or night? There were 3 serious charges. What does this mean for his political career? Is he going to stay and remain the independent member for McKillop? Will he stand down? Will he ride the storm? What is going to happen from now on? And of course, we know that he was in Parliament last week and didn't shed any light, didn't answer any of the questions other than to say, it's before the courts, I'm not saying anything. And he may well do that again today.
Yeah, well, all will be revealed in court. Deanna Williams there, court reporter for 7 News. Adelaide in beautiful Narracorde.
See that from 6 o'clock tonight, all of Dee's reporting. It's 9 minutes to 9. Let's have a quick check of the traffic, and when we return, Jade Robran out on the road for us, as always, doing a wonderful job covering the local stories. Experience the smooth, rich flavour of McCafe today, expertly crafted by a trained barista, just the way you like it.
Thanks, Will. At Crayford West, a smash on the freeway near the tunnel, seeing delays inbound. Darlington, Burstwater, Main South Road near Brookside Road. Slow for works at Croydon, South Road affecting Port and Torrens Road at the moment. And look out for works at Hawthorne Belair Road near Tutt Avenue. Cameras, Candy Road, O'Halloran Hill, and got one right now, Hillier Road at Ranella. Dominic Explorer Caravan's 3-day autumn clearance. Massive savings and factory bonuses on Franklin, Viscount and the new titanium range. Starts May 16 at Explorer Caravans. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Doing day-to-day things online has made our lives easier. Paying bills, shopping, banking. It all makes perfect sense to do online. But what doesn't make sense is doing your will online. It's fraught with potential problems and can leave a mess behind. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes properly. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Some milk on our shelves travels further than you do on holiday. Not milk from Fleurieu Milk Company. Our milk is proudly homegrown, home bottled and delivered straight from the rolling paddocks of South Australia's Fleurieu Peninsula. Freshness isn't a buzzword for us. We live and breathe it 24 hours a day. When you buy from FIVEAA Milk Company, you're supporting our incredible farming families and doing SA proud. Look for FIVEAA Milk Company in your supermarket.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth a trip. And now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver. From the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth a trip. Steinborner.com.au.
Hyundai Prius is on now. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit Hyundai.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 9. Jade Robin in a moment. Let's check on the fuel situation first, though. It's better to be a member with RAA Road Service. It's bumped up a little bit on average, but still hard to complain at the moment, given where we've been. The United Flinders Park Grange Road's at $1.59.5. The best we've spotted, the United Wingfield Grand Junction Road, $1.53.9. The Shell OTR Parabank Salisbury Highway, $1.56.9. The Shell OTR Glengarry Oaklands Road, $1.57.9. Diesel in that mid to high $1.60s range. The best looks like the Mobile Hillcrest Northeast Road, $1.64.5. And the Mobile at Shido Park Commercial Road, $1.69.5.
Scott and Hillbank just texted. Apparently it's bucketing down in Port Adelaide.
Fantastic.
Yes. Bring it on.
Yes, let it rain. All right, let's check in with Jade Robert. Morning again, Jade.
Good morning, guys. Yes, I am here at the Adelaide Arcade, here with General Manager Andrew Jonatz. We're celebrating 140 years of this beautiful place, and it is just as gorgeous as it is, I guess, 140 years ago.
That's right. It's a beautiful building that we've maintained for a long time. It was a beautiful building back in 1885 when it was first built as well. It was the first building with electricity, so it was very grand and ornate. And we were coming out of recession in the time, so it was very fortuitous that the owners made such an effort to build such a huge, magnificent building in a time of, I suppose, downturn.
And how are you celebrating 140 years?
Well, it's very fortuitous that May is the History Festival in Adelaide, and so in May was when the foundation stone was laid. So we had a competition for a time capsule. So we ran a competition with the public to see who wanted to put something in or what would they'd like to put in our time capsule to be opened in 50 years' time.
Okay, and were there any, artefacts? Was there any history that, someone popped out from, I guess 30 or 40, 50, 140 years ago and they had something special from here?
I suppose that it's not so much the artefacts, it's the stories. So the person who actually won the competition, they regaled us with stories of the last 10 years of how with their children they'd come through the arcade and had cups of tea and shopping and then with their grandparents, and it's all about the stories, isn't it? That's what people like.
Oh, absolutely, and it is so iconic, and so many families out there listening right now have got a story to tell about this gorgeous building. And as we just walk around here, and if you jump onto the live stream, you'll see some vision that I've taken. You've got an exhibition in the middle of the arcade of all these gorgeous photos. Where did you find these?
It's taken many, many years of going through our records, and also the State Library is a fantastic source of information for everyone and anyone, and we've put together an exhibition for everyone to come and look at in the middle of the arcade. We also actually have a history tour that you can do anytime as well, which is online if you want to see and know about the history of Adelaide Arcade. We have many ghosts and many stories, that's for sure.
Oh, the ghosts. Tell me about that. Where is she or he living right now?
No, we've got a friendly man. I don't know if he's friendly after he fell in the generator, but it goes back to 1887 when Adelaide Arcade and all the buildings had staff on site, and we had a caretaker, or beadle as they were called, back in 1887. And the story goes that one night he was checking the generator for the electricity to run our lights, and he actually fell inside it because they were pretty primitive back then. And yeah, bits and pieces came out, I suppose.
Oh no!
So anyway, he's pretty friendly, so it's okay, but he does come around quite often. And we actually have ghost tours as well, so you can do a ghost tour in Adelaide Arcade if you want to see him. He might turn up. we've got other ghosts as well, so there's more than one.
Oh, he's got all of his mates here. Well, look, thank you to all the ghosts around us right now and to you, Andrew, and a wonderful, wonderful celebration of this gorgeous place.
It is a beautiful building. They knocked it up in 7 months. No AutoCAD, no modern machinery,
I
no
gotta say,
nothing.
though, I'm a big fan of the Adelaide Arcade. I love going there. Whenever I go to Hague's, I always go to the Adelaide Arcade outlet. I'm a bit worried that it might have its own resident Jack Torrance.
Yes.
Knocking around like it's
Sounds
The
like
Shining.
It does. Sounds like it does.
Your
Hey,
money's no good here.
we're
Mr.
out of time.
Torrance.
The
White
showdown
man's burden light.
showdown chat with Jack Lukosius and Alex Neil Bullen on the program tomorrow.
Massive.
They're going to be back both on